Don't you know they're talking about a revolution? Sounds like a whisper. Don't you know they're talking about a revolution? Sounds like a whisper. Don't you know talking about a revolution? Sounds like a whisper. While they're standing in the welfare lines, lying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting for our promotion. Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds like a whisper. Poor people gonna rise up and get their share. Poor people gonna rise up and take what's theirs. Talking about a revolution, oh no. Talking about a revolution, oh. I've been standing in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds like a whisper.
I don't even bother. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Them basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Them basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. I put that on my partner, I put that on my family. Oakland City represent, address me as your majesty. Yeah, you can kiss the ring, but you can never touch the crown. I smoke a million swishes and I ain't never coming down. Bitch, you ain't no Barbie, I see you working hard. Never to supersize, hurry up, I'm starving. Gnarly, radical, on the block, I'm magical. See me at your college campus, baggy full of Adderall. Tell me if you need a fix, tell me if you need a fix. See them other chicken heads, they don't ever leave the coop. I'm in the coop cruising, I got the stolen plates, serving all the beans over there by the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm colder than the fridge and the freezer. I'm snatching all your bitches at my leisure. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Them basic bitches wear that shit.
All right, are you hyped up enough? The only stream that does it like that. Come on. Who else can get you ready for a Karen Reed hearing like that? Only Towel. All right. How you doing? My voice has been hurting. I hope everyone had a good time in the day party. My name is Grant Smith Ellis. Good to see you all. We're here. We're going to be covering the Karen Reed hearing. It starts in 18 minutes. I wanted to start a little early because I want to watch the last hearing related to this. This has to do with Colin Albert's deposition, when he's going to be produced for said deposition. I think another witness, perhaps Julie Albert, might be attempting to avoid a deposition. This has to do with the 4 civil cases currently ongoing related to Karen Reed and John O'Keefe. John O'Keefe, the former Boston police officer who died tragically. We don't know who killed him. The mystery man, I believe, is the prime suspect. We don't know who the mystery man is. It's a long story. It involves a Sallyport video. We'll get you caught up eventually. There are 4 civil cases. One of them's in federal court. All right, there was a ruling today from Chief Judge Caspa in federal court in Boston. That's a case that Karen originally filed in Bristol Superior Court against the Ham defendants, Higgins, Albert McCabe, and also Michael Proctor and Brian Tully and Yuri Buchanan. Those were the cops that were assigned to the State Police Detectives Unit that investigated Karen for John's death. Karen was acquitted after 2 trials in June of 2025. All right. Now, the Ham defendants, or the state police defendants, I forget which ones, moved the case to federal court. So that case is up in front of Chief Judge Caspa at the Boston Federal Court. Now today, Judge Caspa issued a ruling, and it had to do, it's very convoluted. It has to do with a motion to dismiss filed by the Ham defendants, and then Karen wrote a reply to that motion to dismiss. And then Karen wanted to amend her reply to the motion to dismiss, but the Ham defendants opposed Karen's motion to amend her opposition to the motion to dismiss. And then Judge Casper ruled that Karen could amend her opposition to the Ham defendants' motion to dismiss. But, so the Ham defendants lost. But if and when Karen does that, well, Karen already did that, excuse me, because Karen's already done that, the Ham defendants can file up to 5 pages in reply to that before, 5 days from now, June 28th or something. So that was that ruling, okay? Now, there's 3 other state-level civil cases, okay? There is the open case in Plymouth that was filed by John O'Keefe's. That's what's being heard today. Okay, that's in Plymouth. Give me a second. Drop frames. I'm back. Hello, I'm a towel. All right. So, that's what's being heard today in Plymouth. Now, in Plymouth, simultaneously, there's another case. Okay, that first Plymouth case is John O'Keefe's estate versus 2 bars, C.F. McCarthy's on the Waterfall, and Karen. Okay? Then, there's another civil case, which is Jen McCabe, maybe the Ham defendants, I don't know, all of the parties, versus Karen and Turtleboy, Aiden Turtleboy Carney. He's a journalist in Massachusetts. His original reporting in September of 2022 on Tiffany Overstreet in the Norfolk DA's State Police Detectives Unit was like a precursor to 9 months later, his article starting in April 2023 about Karen's case, which brought national attention to it and allowed them to team up and fight off private intelligence agencies and the entire state police and a lot of local police to expose corruption in Norfolk County and bring down the Morrissey machine. Okay, there's that case. All right, then there's also a case that Karen, another state-level civil case filed in Bristol County against Michael Proctor. Well, not really against Michael Proctor. It's against the state police and the town of Canton because they negligently hired and retained as an employee Michael Proctor and another guy named Sean Good, who used to be a sergeant with the Canton police. John O'Keefe's death occurred in Canton. So the Canton police were the initial responders, but all unattended deaths in the Commonwealth are investigated by the state police. So really we're talking about the Norfolk County Michael Morrissey District Attorney, his state police detective unit, which was run by Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully, and then his first officer was John Fanning. John Fanning was involved in the cover-up of Sandra Birchmore's murder, which occurred on February 1st, 2021 at 9:27 p.m. And the federal government's going to charge try Matthew Farwell for that, a former Stoughton cop, in August of 2026. Why is that relevant? Well, because you're also going to find out that the man right below John Fanning, Yuri Buchanan, who was a sergeant, both John Fanning and Yuri Buchanan both used to work in Stoughton, where Matthew Farwell and this other ring of cops was doing a lot of bad things involving targeting young girls and things that are just bad. All right, so there's a lot of pernicious overlap between the Tiffany Overstreet case. You got to read Turtle Boy's article about that. And then the Sandra Birchmore case, then the Karen Reed case, then the Turtle Boy case. All right, and it all involves institutional corruption. So, you got those 4 simultaneous civil lawsuits. Now, I tried to tell you all years ago, like a year ago, civil lawsuits are very complex. They're difficult to understand. They're very intense. There's a lot going on when these things, like, are sort of debated. There's procedural complexities to civil cases. And then also, if you wouldn't mind, I'm gonna broadcast this on the Twitter as well. Apparently, like, not a lot of people have access to the streams there, so I'm gonna do that over there if I can. Give me 1 second. But in any event, that's what we're going to be doing today. And I also want to watch a little bit of the previous hearing about Colin Albert. We don't have to watch the whole thing, but just a little bit. Pernicious, yes. And did you know we have our bot? So if you hit in the chat, if you type !define, whatever you want to do, it will then, whatever word you want, it will then tell you the meaning of the word. Yeah, it's really great. People don't love Nightbot per se. I think Nightbot's great. He's really smart. All right, let me get this thing going over on the other feed. 1 second. Will you give me just 1 second here? I'm the producer and the broadcaster, and I don't use the same type of thing that other people use. I do this by hand. I don't use like a middleman service. I just do it. I code it myself. I do it all myself. So, hashtag one-man operation. All right, let's make this happen. All right, hello Twitter. We're going to be broadcasting today's Colin Albert, Karen Reed motion to compel hearing. It's going to start in about 15 minutes. You can find more Towel News coverage on youtube.com/@RantsWithEllis. If you want to join the chat and have your comments show up on screen, that's where you want to go. All right, that's the place to be. We're going to watch the previous hearing related to this, okay, the previous Colin Albert, Karen Reed hearing. This was, thank you very much to Canton Community TV, by the way. They were in court. They recorded this. This was the, what was it? When was it? June 17th. So this was 5 days ago, all right? To get you ready for 3 p.m., we got to watch this one. And then at 3 p.m., we're going to go live and watch the follow-up to this hearing. So everyone's going to be well prepared.
All right.
And I'll sit here and react and say things during this. Remember, this is not live. This is the last hearing. And I'll say things. That's Judge Gildea. He's a good judge.
This court is now in session. Please be seated.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. May I proceed? Good afternoon, everyone. The matter before the court is civil action number 2483 CB 00692. Paula O'Keefe, individually and personal representative of the estate of John Joseph O'Keefe III et al. Versus C&C Hospitality LLC, doing business as C&F McCarthy's et al. Counsel, if you could please state your name for the record because you're the plaintiff.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Dan Buck on behalf of the plaintiff. Plaintiffs, excuse me.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Aaron Rosenberg on behalf of Defendant Reed.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Damon Seligson on behalf of Karen Reed.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Thomas Tang on behalf of Karen Reed. Good afternoon. Who's going to argue on behalf of Ms. Reed?
Sorry?
Who's going to argue?
I am.
Actually comes at the side of the bench for a moment.
We're going to skip the sidebar. All right, give me 1 second. We're going to skip the sidebar. All right. It's just unnecessary sidebar. hold on one second. There's the benefit. Oh, clumsy clairvoyance. God bless you.
Okay,
Thank you
yeah,
for your
that's
support. 1 second. I'm only skipping the sidebar.
I wasn't sure. I knew you might cause shock. I didn't know if dismay would come along with it. But that being said, Attorney Fell, my colleague, and I were in attendance for this morning's deposition, and Attorney Diller is unavailable at the moment. There was...
Oh, thank you so much, the kind oracle. That is so cool. I love the jewels and the sparkles. And thank you again to Clumsy Clairvoyance. You're all wonderful. Thank you for your support of Towel Channel. I'll put a goal up. Towel Chat Mom Lynn likes to remind me.
I received an email on or about 11:24 a.m. this morning from Miss Reed's counsel acknowledging that a production to our supplemental request had been made. Following the completion of today's deposition, I got in the car and came here.
Let's not waste any more
Yeah, I
time on
can't
this.
confirm.
All right, you don't know, you just got it, you just sent it.
Our team, yes.
Your team.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we'll use the collective.
All right, good, yeah,
okay?
that's fair. You're
All
right.
right.
Yes.
All right, so let's move on. We're done with that for now. All right? Anyone need to be heard any further?
Not this time.
Do you need to be heard any further?
No, Your Honor, not on that motion.
Okay, so let's go to the next motion. And that's the motion relative to,
Oh, God bless you, Ben. Thank you so much for your support of Towel Channel. You're wonderful.
compelling Mr. Albert. So, Attorney Rosenberg. And I guess to all the attorneys in this case, and non-parties that are involved in the case, the pleadings I'm getting in this case, and I'm sure that I will get in the McCabe case, are replete with arguments presented as facts, which isn't really helpful to me. And there's a lot more background in these submissions than I really need to decide the issues. So I'm going to ask all of you in the pleadings that you file, at least with me, just write what I need to know in order to decide the issue. And stop pandering to social media. All right? So now let's get on to your motion. And I have a question on with respect to your motion that you wrote.
Can I just make one quick comment here?
Before we dive into this, can I just say something? Okay. So there's something called a speaking motion. We talked about this before in our coverage of these cases. It's called most formally, most conventionally, a speaking indictment. Okay? A speaking indictment is when the government writes an indictment that is more detailed than it needs to be to make a point to the public. There's no rule that says you can't do a speaking paper. A court paper is called a moving paper. There's nothing that says you can't do it, but you run the risk if you do it, either side, of a judge being like, why did you do this? You're not writing for me. You're supposed to write to the court. Remember, when we're in court, you're always talking through the judge. All right? You want to talk to the other side, talk to the judge. All right? Your Honor, if counsel would do this, etc. So, when you're writing, we got to think about what you're doing when you're writing a motion. You are writing it for the public. Everybody knows. Judge knows when he's talking, it's for the public. This is as much a clip for social media as the motion, but you always run that risk. And Judge probably wasn't right to do it here. I think there was one thing in Karen's motion, like a misattributed quote, where Alan Jackson summarized the text from Proctor and the quote was unattributed. That's not enough for a scolding. But Judge Gildea, I've tried to tell people, he's kind of old. He was, and I mean that in a complimentary way, and he was selected by the trial court to deal with all of these cases for a reason. He's ornery, but he's firm. And he plays right down the rule says it, he's going to call you on it. And I mean that with Rule 9A packages. I mean that with how you do certificates of service. You have to be on point with your motion practice, or he's going. Most judges will overlook it, because most criminal trial judges in particular, we don't have time. A defendant's constitutional liberties are at stake. Don't you understand? We don't have time, prosecutor, for you to be complaining about the defense attorney not doing a certificate of service. How dare you? All right. But in a civil case, not so much. All right, Woodwatt, why'd you get yelled at? Why did you get yelled at by Nightbot? What did you do? How do people have time? All right, Woodwatt. You know what? Nightbot took care of you, and I'm not overruling him. We're trying to talk about motion practice here, sir. Some of us went to law school. Some of us find this very edifying. Sometimes educating, informing, and entertaining is a pathway to erudite, cogent public discourse, thus engendering the standing of the polity in the larger democratic will formation. And if you have a problem with that, well, I don't think you should be involved in the public sphere. How about them apples?
Your Honor, our memo, I agree with you, but our memo of law is 9 pages long, and it has a page and a half of argument. So we're not pandering to anyone, and we don't intend to.
You raised it, so let's talk about it. Let's go to page 3 of your motion, all right? In top page, we don't have to restate the words, but end of the first sentence to the end of the second sentence, end of the first line, not to the end of the second line, all right? Now, how old was that individual when they went to the wedding?
I don't know your...
Wait a minute. It's not just that he went to the wedding, it's that the Albert family member on social media said that the Proctors were a second family to the Alberts. Colin Albert testified on the stand that he's known Michael Proctor since he was a kid. Come on. Make me all mad.
But
So is it really, you don't know, so is it really, what if he was a ring bearer?
Hi, Spacey. So they're talking about a wedding where Colin Albert, I think, or somebody, Colin Albert or somebody was a ring bearer at like Proctor's sister's wedding. But that's not the operative point. The operative point, it was attached to a Facebook post, or there's a picture attached to a Facebook post, like corollary to all this at the same time, where the Albert family member says the Proctors are like the Albert second family, and Colin Albert testified on the stand in Karen's criminal trial that Colin Albert has known Michael Proctor since he was a kid. It's very important to this context here because it's not just this obscure like wedding photo. So Judge Gildea is still learning this case. It takes a few years to learn, but if you're gonna scold the lawyer, Judge, come on now, come on.
Is that really relevant to the issue I have to decide?
absolutely it is, because
If a young child's a ring bearer at a wedding, okay, go to the line above there, okay, the words in quotes. Whose words are those? Because there's no reference, no citation to it, which makes it totally not helpful to me.
Understood, Your Honor, and that point is taken. However,
Well, who is it, do you know?
I believe it's her defense counsel.
Her defense counsel. You're citing a statement in quotes from your client's defense counsel. How is that relevant or appropriate, especially without citation?
But if I could take the first question
So how cool is this? We can watch for the Karen hearing to start and watch the other hearing at the same time. I'm a towel. Highly efficient multi-toweling.
first, and then I'll answer your second question. The first question, there's a significant relevance objection to Colin Albert being deposed or producing any documents in this case. You see it throughout the lengthy
I don't
opposition.
think the opposition is to producing any documents.
I would disagree with that, Your Honor, and I'm happy to explain why. But there's a significant relevance objection overall to Colin Albert being a
I know
deponent.
there's a relevance objection, but I don't think facts or claimed facts like that are really relevant. They're nothing but attempts to sensationalize certain things. So let's go on to the real
Well,
issues.
Your Honor,
No,
please-
let's go on to the real issues in the case.
Your Honor, if you're going to point out that something is irrelevant, I'd like to please just very quickly address why I disagree with you.
I've read everything. I know why you think it's relevant. You think
Well,
it's relevant because they don't want to produce anything, and they're trying to minimize involvement. You're trying to do the opposite thing. I understand that.
But you just told me you don't think it's relevant. I think I have the right to tell you why I disagree.
I don't need all that background, all right?
It's not background, Your Honor. It's a
I think
significant
it
point.
is. Let's move on.
Well, how is the
Let's
relationship?
move on.
How is the relationship
We're
between?
either going to move on or we're going to end the hearing.
Okay, well, Your Honor, I would note for the record, I'd like to address the point that you just.
Oh my. So when I covered this, a lot's been going on, but when I covered this, I took the live stream from CBS. They didn't have this. I did want to watch it back on a stream. I waited for today to watch it back. Whoa, way overboard from Judge. Out of nowhere. Judge, Judge. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Today could be fireworks. Judge. Come on now. They're entirely uncalled for. Oh, what's going on here? Isn't Judge Canoni, the judge from Karen's trial in Plymouth, somebody like Judge Gildea? I don't know how they're going to do this. It's not really my job to do this. I suppose, technically the governor's council is elected, so I suppose I have some say as like a member of the constituency, you know what I'm saying, of a person who has a role in this. So therefore, I guess I should say, in the form of petitioning my government for redress, and with all due respect to Judge Gildea, if you're going to do this case, if you're going to be the judge on these cases, and I mean he's going to get all 4 of them eventually, you got to be like the expert. You and I don't, no pun intended, shout out Emily C. You gotta be like, you gotta know it, because all the lawyers know it like really, 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 really good. In fact, some of the commentators know it good. Commentators on this case know it better than some of the clerks. All right, that's just the reality. Some of the clerks look to the commentators. They're like, wait a minute, what do you mean something's smile and say thank you. You know, thank you, Clerk Margaret. You're wonderful. All right. So anyway, my point is you gotta be not just snappy, but you gotta know the whole record, and the record is comprehensive. It spans just January of 2022 through now, and it's ever evolving. You can't miss anything because people and their roles in this change all the time. Somebody might be like pro Karen one day, but was actually faking it and like working for like some like state affiliated private intel group, and they're now anti Karen. Someone might have been pretending to be pro Turtle Boy and pro Karen, and then switched to being anti Turtle Boy but pro Karen, but the whole time was anti Karen and is now revealing it. You just got like all these like moving players. It's not just social media, quote unquote. It's the interplay between like these contracted sort of like private intel operators, and then Karen's support network, and then Turtle Boy's support network, and then Karen and Turtle Boy and Alan and David. Well, David Unetti's not involved anymore, but like David Seelix and like the defendants' attorneys, and then like the witnesses' attorneys, and like all these different law firms, and who they know in the background, and who's talking to who, and who's friends with this guy and that girl. You got to know the whole web, because what you really have to do, it's like the art of reconstructive hermeneutics. You have to know what these people are thinking about to critique them. You can't just go at them, or it's just very off-putting. It doesn't make sense. There's a lot of schadenfreude to the people who know the details. It's like, I don't know. That's what I would say. Judge Gildea can do this, but if he's going to do it, he's got to silo himself. Like, you can't be talking like at conferences to other judges. You really can't. You will get influenced. You can't be talking to anybody, and you got to just study the whole record. It's got to be like, if you're not going to live it, you can't be the judge on this case. Now, they've already decided he's going to do it, and he can do it, but he needs much more time to read the record. He's not ready, and they're throwing more stuff at him, and he's not fully caught up. We're heading into a problem. I'm telling you now. I can see it coming. Hello, Chris.
Referring
Welcome.
to something as irrelevant, which I think is actually highly relevant. If you're not going to allow me to explain that in 2 sentences,
You don't know how old the person was at the time they attended the wedding.
Correct. But that doesn't impact the relevance. The relevance is the relationship between the families. That's the relevance, and that's the only reason it's referenced there. I don't think the fact that the families were close enough to attend weddings together is irrelevant to whether Mr. Albert is relevant to this case. But I'm happy to move on to your other question. I think, I don't know if you need an answer, but I take your point about quotation marks without a citation, and the effectiveness of including prior statements of counsel and pleadings, and we'll keep that in mind.
Not helpful.
Understood.
So,
Hi, Mishigama. Hello, 00 Kingpin. Hello, towel friends. It's so good to see you all. I might do my towel shoes unboxing after the hearing, by the way, if you're excited to see the towel shoes.
now let's go on to some other questions I have about what happened here. Your office, not you individually.
Collective view.
Your collective view.
Yes.
Issued a notice of deposition on February 11th, 2026 for a deposition over 2 months later on April 29th, correct?
Correct.
And a subpoena was issued on April 15th.
Correct. Thereabouts.
No, well, that's the date on it.
Okay, then yes.
Compelling production of documents 12 days later on April 27th. And the subpoena was not served for 6 days. Would you agree with that?
If that's what it says, I don't dispute the
Okay.
general point you're making.
So my first question is there a reason that you would wait 2 months after issuing a
Hold on, I was muted. Did you all see the golden goat? I got so excited I didn't know what to do. A golden goat danced above my head. That was the greatest thing I've ever seen. Oh, Tiffany Bob, thank you for being the best towel. We got a golden goat. The golden goat actually danced above my head. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I've gotten one before, but you don't understand. It just makes me happy. It's a golden goat. It dances around. It's great. Tiffany Bob, you're so wonderful. God bless you, my friend. Thank you so much for your support of Towel Channel. That was a great back-to-back there. Golden Goat and a Tiffany Bob support 3-month membership. You have wonderful towel emojis. You're going to upgrade eventually to the further sort of emoji you get next to your name. You're all just wonderful. Well, Jay, you know, I think I know who you are. So, you know, like, I don't like movie plots. Anyway, let's keep watching this. We're waiting for the Karen Reed hearing to start.
notice of deposition to issue the subpoena?
Well, there were a lot of moving pieces schedule-wise, as you're aware, Your Honor.
No, the notice of deposition said the date of the deposition.
Understood, but obviously those change.
Why do you wait 2 months, less than 2 weeks, closer to 12 days, to issue the subpoena and not serve it for 6 days?
Well, the service is dependent on the process server. I don't have an answer for you why it took 6 days.
No, it's not. The service is dependent upon the constable or whomever you hire to do it. Right?
Wait, hold on. Chris is here. Ladies and gentlemen. Hello to Chris. How are you? Enjoy your new towel mod, your towel wrench. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to Chris in the chat. Chris Filipadas. Chris was kind enough to send perhaps the greatest towel gift of all time. And I'm going to open it for you as we're waiting for the Karen hearing to start. You're going to see me open what is the greatest gift I've ever seen. Okay? Oh, goodness. It has a message on the inside. I'm excited. Hold on. Let me read it. It says, FKR, FTB, so Free Karen Reed and Free Turtle Boy, Go Towel News Network. Oh, isn't that great? It's going to be a little hard to show, but that's Chris's wonderful message. Now, are you ready to see the unveiling? Oh my goodness, there they are. I have to be very careful with this box because I'm going to put it in a glass case and I don't have it yet. So I'm going to be very gentle with this. Please allow me to do so. Okay. This is a very special gift from Chris, and you all are going to get to see me open it. Chris, I don't know how he came up with this amazing gift idea, okay? It came out of nowhere, and I just want to say I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful. It's probably one of the greatest things I've ever received. I'm very touched. Even like one time someone gave me a fuzzy pink steering wheel cover as a gag gift in high school, and I kept it for years because it was so touching. Gifts used to be weaponized against me when I was a kid, so I was never comfortable getting them, you know, like for months afterwards. Anyway, I don't want to go down that road. I just want to say I'm very grateful. Chris is a really great human. I'm honored to call him a friend, and I'm so excited to open this. Oh goodness, I have to be very careful. They're special South Park towelly shoes. Okay. Oh, and even the wrapping. Oh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. You must understand, the wrapping has Kyle and Kenny and Cartman and Stan. Oh, this is so great. Oh, it's all South Park themed. I've never seen anything so cool in my life. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh wow. Look at them. Look at them. They're towelly shoes. I'm never going to wear them. They're going to be in a special glass box. Oh my goodness. I'm just joyful right now. I waited, I was gonna just find a moment, and this was the moment. Chris was in chat. This is just the greatest moment. I'm so excited. And I don't have a black light, but when you shine a black light on them, Towley's eyes light up red. I mean, and by the way, I am like a size 11 and a half. They're I'm never going to wear them, but they're the perfect size. Oh my goodness. Look at them. It's Towley on a shoe. You don't understand. It's what I've always wanted, but didn't know I needed. It's a towel shoe. This is the greatest thing ever. We used to talk about feet towels because technically socks are feet towels. You know, they can absorb things like water. I now have actual towels I could put on my feet. They will never go on my feet, but I am just having the greatest day. Oh, I waited. I got them a few days ago, and I wanted to wait till I was live so I could open them. Oh, Chris, God bless you. I'm so happy. 2 keychains. Oh, wait, where are the keychains? Hold on. There's a keychain on each shoe. Oh, yes, there is. Oh, wow. Oh, yes. There is... I have no idea what's going on. Oh, yes. It's a Towley. I didn't even see the Towley keychains. They're perfect. Oh, this is perfect. Oh, I see, because it kind of goes like in the lace. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. That is, do you understand? Not only are there shoes, there's a towel keychain with each shoe. Oh, Chris, I just want to hold them both up very lightly. I can't thank you enough. I am a very grateful towel. God bless you. You're wonderful. You've brought so much joy to my life today, and I can't thank you enough. You're just so wonderful, and I'm so glad so many of the towel friends in chat got to see this moment. Bring a little tear to my towel eye. I feel so loved. I've never seen such... I mean, I've gotten some very touching gifts, very themed gifts, but I think this is one. I mean, I have the Towley South Park shirt from Little Law Girls, Not Attorneys too. I have a whole towel-based collection now. This is great. Oh, God bless each and every one of you. I want to be very careful with these. Hold on. I got to put them in the right way so they go like that. And then I'll put the keychain. And I'll put the little fabric over. You must understand the fabric actually has Kyle and Kenny and Stan on it. Oh, these are going right in a glass box. They're the greatest thing I've ever seen. Chris, I can't thank you enough. I am so grateful. I mean, just look at that. Even the box is a collector box. And I just love South Park. This is great. Oh, I'm in heaven. Those are going immediately into a glass box. I need to think about how to display them, but I'm so grateful. Chris says, "You're welcome, Grant. I've had them for years, and when I saw them the other day, and you coming to the good side, I said to myself, they have to be yours. Enjoy. Have a blessed day, people." God bless you, Chris. I'm so excited. I can't wait to take a picture of these in their final display case and show them to you. I didn't need a smile. I was having a good day, but my day has it's just bursting off the charts. The hearing has not yet started, by the way. For those of you wondering, amidst my joy, my Towley-based joy from Chris, who's just wonderful, the hearing has not yet started. The second it starts, I'll take you over to it. We have the WBZ live feed. We're catching up on it was June 17th, last Thursday or Wednesday's hearing, which is a precursor to today's hearing at 3. So, God bless you, Chris, again. Thank you for everything. I love my towel shoes. Back to Judge Gildea last week, getting ready for today's hearing.
Correct, Your Honor, but they're the ones that go out to try to find...
Maybe don't wait until 2 weeks before the deposition.
Understood, Your Honor, and I don't disagree with you. But, when that issue was raised, in no form did anyone on our team say to Colin Albert's counsel, you have to get us those documents in the 8 days because that's what the subpoena says.
Well, that's what the document says. And I'm going to remind you of the provisions of Rule 45, which which says a party or attorney, okay, responsible for issuing and serving a subpoena must take reasonable steps to avoid imposing undue burden or expense on a person subject to the subpoena. This is a non-party. You served a subpoena asking for 4 years worth of information to be served in a very short period of time.
And that,
I don't think that's complying with either the words or the spirit of Rule 45.
and that's why, Your Honor, I don't have a problem with that, and that's why when that issue
why did
was
you do it?
raised, because there was a lot going on in the case, and it took longer to serve than probably we would have wanted it to. And so, Your Honor, when counsel raised that and said exactly what you just said, you've only given us 9 days to appear and 8 days to produce, whatever the specific numbers are, we said, we understand that. We are going to work with you on negotiating and conferring on the scope of the subpoena. And secondly, because of the time limit, we are going to reschedule the deposition so that we can resolve this document production issue, including when a production would be made, before the deposition, so that Mr. Albert doesn't have to come back twice. So I'm not fighting you on that, Your Honor. I agree. And when it was raised by Mr. Albert's counsel, they didn't get pushback on that, on the timing. And so I'm not defending that. It was an oversight, I think, and I would prefer that it had been served 30 days before.
With all due respect, to someone that's represented by 3 law firms and at least 10 attorneys, it's hard to envision that it was an oversight that the deposition of a non-party deposition subpoena doesn't go out until shortly before the deposition and 2 months after the notice of deposition.
Your Honor, frankly, there's no basis for that. There's nothing intentional that has been done here. I agree with you, it should have been done sooner, and I apologize that it was not done sooner, and when it was raised by counsel, there was no pushback on that. And I think if you ask counsel, they will confirm that there was not pushback on the timing.
Let's skip down ways to April and May. And am I correct that your office knew of Mr. Albert's availability and unavailability in the month of June? Were you made aware of it?
When?
Were you made aware of it by Attorney Touchberry?
When? At what point? Eventually, on, I believe, May 20th? The email is an exhibit.
May 20th. So.
And May 20th, just to be clear, the explanation that we received.
I'm hearing reports that the lawyers are just walking into court now. We should have the hearing any minute now.
Was between now.
Hello, we're back. Hello, we're back. Give me a second there. All right. I'm hearing that the lawyers are getting ready to come into court. I'm not sure why we haven't started just yet, but let's continue last week's hearing.
I believe it was May.
I saw it come in, and I'll click the heart. You're wonderful.
After that point, Mr. Albert will be unavailable indefinitely, without an explanation. Frankly, the first explanation that we received was in the motion, or in the opposition to the motion.
And
So yes.
I know you call into question the manner in which Mr. Albert's deposition was noticed by the plaintiff's attorney, and I'm not arguing with that. But am I correct that you had notice of that deposition?
Were we aware that the plaintiffs planned to proceed with their deposition? Yes.
Yes. And even if the notice may have been deficient, as you reference in your pleadings, you or your team, like you like to refer to it, made an intentional decision not to appear without coming to the court at all.
So, first of all,
That's a yes or no question.
well, I don't think it is a yes or no question, Your Honor.
Either it
We
is
were
or
aware,
it didn't.
and we didn't file a motion. But again, I'd like to address why that is, if you're going to raise the issue. May I address that?
I know why you didn't, because you claim you wrote about it why you didn't. It's in there, I read it.
Well, if you're asking about it at the hearing, I'd like to address the point.
Okay.
So what happened was we served the subpoena. As you say, we have a team of lawyers. Different lawyers are taking different depositions. The lawyer that's taking the deposition drafts, serves, and prepares the subpoena and prepares for the deposition. We did all of that. We complied with the rules with your exception about date and timing is taken, well taken, and it won't happen in the future. However, otherwise, the subpoena was fully compliant with the rules, and the rules require us to be able to take the deposition. We didn't say it has to happen on this exact date. What we said was we will reschedule it to another date. The recipient of a deposition subpoena doesn't get to choose when the deposition happens by playing games like were played here and are laid out in our papers. Mr. Albert's counsel was notified in this back and forth in the emails that are attached to the motion papers that the attorney.
Let me let it buffer for a second. It's very good footage from Canton Community TV.
Who was prepared to take Colin Albert's deposition was going to be away on 2 particular days that they had proposed. That one of those days, 6 days later, is the one that the plaintiffs chose. So the attorney who had prepared was not available as told to Mr. Albert's counsel. The notice, as you referred to, was issued in direct violation of Rule 30b-1. So we provided notice to all parties that we believed that deposition would not go forward pursuant to that notice, and we continue to believe that. But if the question is did we come and file a motion for the protective order? No, because we don't believe we needed to.
Attorney Tuxbury,
Yes, Your Honor.
when is Mr. Albert going to be produced for deposition?
He appeared for that deposition on the 28th pursuant to the subpoena, and then he is.
Let's lay the groundwork.
Yeah.
You agree you accepted a deposition subpoena,
He was served a deposition subpoena for April 29th.
then you talked about taking it off. It didn't go forward. When's he going to be available?
At this point in time, Your Honor, I'm not sure. It'll be sometime in the fall. He's got a 10-week training.
Not going to happen.
He's in basic training right now. We have 1 hour a week communications with him.
And I don't dispute what you're telling me, but I'm not going to simply rely upon a statement in court that a witness can't be produced until the fall. So go find out when he can be produced before that.
Okay. I will, Your Honor. Try. We won't be able to talk to him until Saturday. I'll talk to him Saturday briefly and see what we can figure out.
But it's not a matter of figuring it out. It's a matter of you saying to him, there's a duly issued subpoena. As I said in one of my pleadings, in this case, which you weren't involved, a subpoena needs to mean something. Just as an attorney agreeing to continue needs to mean something. And it shouldn't end up in front of me in these circumstances.
I appreciate that, Your Honor. We're in a situation where we learned on the 20th and we let them know the same day. I know they say there's games here. We informed them the same day that we found out this information that he had been accepted into the military and had a shipment date of June 2nd. We said, please take his deposition during this period of time because I know you want to take it. And at that point in time...
Let's not put aside the fact that you represent him in another case.
Certainly.
That was a call that was filed not that long ago.
Yes.
So certainly, maybe a party that's going to prosecute an action such as they have alleged should stay in touch with their attorneys and let them know what's going on.
For those tuning in, it's great to see you. My name is Grant Smith Ellis. We are waiting for today's Karen Reed hearing to begin. It was scheduled for 3. The last I heard, the attorneys were filtering into the courthouse. This is the last hearing on Judge Gilday's docket. Now remember, Judge Gilday had a jury trial at 9. He had a motion hearing at 11 this morning, and then he has this at 3. The court's calendar could be causing the delay. I don't have anyone there. I actually probably can find out. Let me do some towel investigation. For now, we're watching a hearing from just 5 days ago that is actually the precursor hearing. You need to see this previous hearing to understand today's motion to compel about Colin Albert. So this is very timely to watch this through.
And we know what he's going through his first 3 weeks school. And then when this ends, he'll go to 10 weeks, his 10 weeks of basic training will be. He'll be on, like I was saying, Your Honor, he'll be on leave in the fall. So in terms of I appreciate it.
Let me just make it clear. We're not waiting till the fall.
Okay.
All right? Discovery ends in...
Hold, please. Hold, please. All right. Any minute now. Let's.
in this case on August 17th. we're gonna go find out when he can get back up here and be deposed.
Okay.
Now let's talk about the status of any discussions between the attorneys as to the scope of the production. I agree with Attorney Tuxbury that the scope of the subpoena is excessively broad. I know there have been discussions, but I don't know where you're at now. Have you had any recent discussions?
No, the discussions are what are laid out. And if Your Honor is inclined to ask us to, we can continue to work on the document side, report back to you in a few days.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes. Would you be so kind?
Yes, I mean, we made our proposal, Your Honor, with respect to, issues about what this case is about, which is the death of Officer Keith on the night of January 29th, 2022. He searched for all communications with law enforcement for the entire period of time, looked for other ones. We never heard back. We got this motion in response to that. I mean, we're happy to look at other stuff here, but I think, to your point, the asking for private conversations, communications, really, from our perspective, is a non-starter without being tied to this case.
To you, Attorney Rosenberg. Let's keep in mind, okay, that I know there's the other case, but you're talking about a non-party.
Understood, Your Honor. And I don't know if you would want to, but I'm happy to get thoughts from you about because what Mr. Tuxbury is referring to is the extremely narrow two categories that they.
So I think it was not an RO, but what's called a protective order. And judge is asking Rosenberg if there was a dispute about Colin not producing documents. Why didn't Rosenberg seek an order from the court? Which basically he's saying he's doing.
They said, we'll search for these, and we don't have any documents. We search, and we don't have any documents other than the text chain that's already public record. So I think that is certainly too narrow. But I also take your point to me.
Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. I'd like today's hearing to start. That would be nice. Give me 1 second. I'd like today's hearing to start, as I was saying. That would be nice. But we can continue watching last week's hearing.
Be that as it stands, the subpoena is too broad. There's.
Hi, Joy. Yes, I heard the attorneys were entering, but I have no updates on the live coverage. I'll try to find out what I can.
There is obviously, as you are aware, Your Honor, there's more than wrongful death alleged here. The false narrative is part of the claims the plaintiffs have brought in this case, and that obviously relates to much longer than January 28th and 29th, 2022. So to the extent, there's burden.
I don't know that it extends 4 years.
I'm not trying to argue it because I don't understand that you want to decide that as a fact right now. All I'm saying is it's broader, and this is kind of my point. I think it's broader than what Mr. Tuxbury and his team interpret it.
Thank you.
You're telling us that you think it's.
I wonder if this is just I wonder if it's. I'm going to let it load a little bit. We're still waiting for today's hearing, for those of you wondering. Nobody, as far as I heard, the attorneys are at the court. But that does not mean Judge Gilday is ready to go. However, I promise you, when Judge Gilday is ready to go, you will see that hearing up on your screen. CBS WBZ is in the courtroom.
It's narrower than what we interpret it, and that's taken, which is why I suggested we have a conversation about maybe meeting somewhere in the middle, and I'm fine doing that.
When can you have the conversation?
Tomorrow?
Sure. Yeah, I'm open to a call anytime. Just call me. I'm available tomorrow afternoon. We have a meeting for something else tomorrow afternoon.
It's not me that has to call you.
I understand. It's anyone. Damon can call me. I never know who has to call me because there's allocation of attorneys, so you have to know who we're talking to. But yeah, I can have a conversation about that. But obviously, as you know, this is a wrongful death case with again, there's an intentional infliction claim based on a false narrative. In many respects, that false narrative claim is the other side of the coin of the wrongful death, right? If she said things that someone else did it, and they show she actually did it, a priori, false narrative is
A fiori, that's a good word.
Not the defamation case. This is not the harassment case the criminal harassment case that's proceeding with respect to Mr. Carney in Norfolk County. And so we're happy to consult with them, look for more stuff. I think there's a disconnect because there's a different view of what happened here. And so I think they're frustrated when we say we don't have any documents because he simply doesn't have any. He searched. We're willing to consider searching for more and expand the time scope of that search, but in likelihood the answer is going to be the same.
I understand you stand before me.
No updates as to the delay in today's hearing. This is last week's hearing getting us ready. We got about 5 minutes more of this.
We're setting a non-party.
Yes.
But we're all aware of the other case in which certain allegations have been made. So you're going to have to do some of those searches sooner or later.
Of course, Your Honor. I think what I'm just trying to do, I think, following the guidance of this court, this is a death case.
Oh, God bless you, CLK Staffy. Thank you so much for your support of Towel Channel. You're all wonderful.
We're going to do...
Joy said, Grant, did you get a chance to watch Larry Foreman, the DWI guy, and his coverage of Colin and the military? Oh, I haven't got to see it yet, Joy, but I will watch it before bed tonight. I heard Larry's commentary was very erudite. Thank you again, Joy, for pointing that out. I actually put it on my list to watch because of your comment on X, so thank you for that.
We're doing discovery in the defamation case, and we're going to get document requests, I'm sure, that will be broader than that. That's a different case here. And so the issue I have, Your Honors, as a third party here in this matter, is resource issues, right? It's quite expensive here. We're going to have to do this in the defamation case. That's going to be different and separate apart from this one. So all I'm trying to do, Your Honor, is kind of ensure that...
Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, Towel Chat Mom Lynn has just sent 20 memberships. Alvaro, Joy, Yoda's Green Wiener, Christy the Brit, Melissa, 32, Ann BBB, Princess Chalet, Doobie Gills, Miss Profess, Jesse Beanie, CLK Stiffy, Alvaro Martinez, Michelle Fortune, Bev D. Divine, Robert Cheek, C-Star, Hindu Namu, and Kathy, and Patty, and Mad Brony. If you heard your name, you now have unlocked very special towel emojis. That was a wonderful membership parade. God bless you, Towel Mom Lynn. That was probably the biggest membership parade we have had in many, many moons on Towel News Network. That was great. Look at you all. You all just unlocked the wonderful ability to send penguin emojis. By the way, if you'd like to say thank you to Towel Chat Mom Lynn, her favorite emoji is the penguin emoji. Now, we do have Towel Chat Mom Bunny's dog, Kofi, as an emoji, but if you want to know, Towel Chat Mom Lynn loves penguins. All right, so if you want to just make her day, you can post as many penguin-based emojis as you want, ladies and gentlemen. Towel Chat Mom Lynn is she just adores them. So that's the best way to say thank you. God bless you, Towel Chat Mom Lynn. You are the best. And now we're going to see lots of penguins for you in appreciation. Look at that. Oh, Towel Chat Mom Lynn is just going to have the best day ever. I'm having the best day ever. Towel Shoes, memberships, you're all so kind. We might not have a hearing ready to go, but we have lots of penguins. Where else can you just see Towel Chat Mom Lynn just light up after gifting memberships because the whole chat is full with penguins? I mean, come on. What more can you ask for, ladies and gentlemen? Hashtag save the penguins.
Not needlessly harassing.
You're wonderful, Towel Chat Mom Lynn. I adore you so much. Thank you so much for all of your support and compassion. You've been such just an unequivocal source of inspiration and always support, and you fed Towel, and you're just wonderful. And Towel Girlfriend and I are definitely going to come visit you. I'm so excited. You're just wonderful, Towel Chat Mom Lynn. All the chat moms are wonderful.
A third party here in this action. I appreciate what you're saying, Your Honor. We're going to produce those documents in response to the RFPs when we get them, right? Obviously we are. We've already gotten one set of RFPs from Ms. Reed in that case too. So I do appreciate it. I'm standing here as a third party, subject to the protections of Rule 45 in this matter, and my client in this instance is also a party to a defamation case filed in Barnstable County and now appearing before Your Honor. But I think in terms of like the scope of discovery and forcing him to kind of like do duplicative discovery, that's a little excessively burdensome. And so I think it's appropriate to keep our focus on...
Oh, you all are chatting. So You all are chatting so fast. I have to press pause on this for some turbulence on Air Towel. But thank you all so much. I want to start by saying thank you to Auto1630. Oh, look at the flow state pop up right above it. Oh, you all are just having such a great day. Good afternoon, Grant. I think you should get a towel plushie made to merch. Towel Girlfriend is on it. God bless you, Auto1630. I heard rumors Towel Girlfriend may have something in the works. Hashtag Peep Towel Plushie. It's going to be great. Bunny Towel Plushie. Thank you, Otto. God bless you. And then I also want to say thank you to... Oh, hold on. I want to make Candy. I want to give Candy their towel wrench. We love our towel wrenches. I want to say thank you to D-Nice for the clapping seal. What a great emoji. Clapping seal. That's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I want to say thank you to Bailey Love for the flow state. That clapping seal was also wonderful. Oh, you all are just, these are flying in. You're all great. Ruth Christie says, thank you, Grant, for your hard work in covering this. Well, God bless you, Ruth Christie. Thank you for your support. You are so kind. It is my pleasure. You all are just flying in the chat. That towel, Chat Mom Lynn membership parade sets it off. Oh, the cupcakes are here. How are you, cupcakes? We are monitoring. Hello to Melanie Little. Thank you, returning Melanie Little. You helped Towel. You were a big part in helping Towel reach 10,000 subscribers on Towel YouTube. I'm so grateful for that. God bless you. And shout out to all the cupcakes. If you want to check out Attorney Melanie Little, she's also on YouTube. Great way to get case commentary on a bunch of different cases. Always very erudite, informed, and Attorney Melanie Little is wonderful. Oh, goodness. Hold on. Auto1630 sent 5 gift memberships. I want to say congratulations to Dark Passenger. Oh, that's wonderful. And Josie Lou and Brenda Bombard and Jen Politano and Ursula. Congratulations. You all just unlocked Towel memberships from the one and only Auto1630. Thank you very much for starting that membership parade. And right behind Auto1630, Corruption Revealed said you are all so kind. Your overwhelming Towel computer. This is literally one of the most intense moments of my life. God bless you all. Thank you so much, Corruption Revealed. And enjoy your new Towel emojis. Hello, Sass for Justice. Welcome to the channel. Enjoy your towel emoji. I'll get you as well. Catalina, this is a one-man show, so I do it, I have to do this all, by hand. And it's one computer. Hello, Sweden. How are you, Karina? The hearing has not yet started. You haven't missed anything. There was a lot of activity there. Flooded towel computer. I'm very grateful. I just wanted to say thank you to Christy the Brit and to all of you. I paused the chat there to let things kind of load. You all are chatting very fast. I know you're waiting for the hearing to start. We all are waiting for the hearing to start. The second it goes live, I will be ready. Balance is coming from today. It could be the weather. It could be me. Alright, it seems a little more stable now. Hold on, we have another super chat coming in. There's a lot of chats going on right now. I run this manually from my computer, so... Hello, Allegedly B, and you have not missed anything. The hearing has not started. It's right there on your left. The second it starts, you will know, I promise. But I just wanted to say God bless you all and thank you for your support. This is last week's hearing.
In this case, like I mentioned before, it's not before Your Honor. We had thought that consolidation for discovery purposes might make sense to avoid this kind of situation, and it was rejected. That's fine. I'm not asking to address it.
But no, I don't think the hospitality defendants would really want to.
I will tell you, Your Honor, they actually said okay. I'm not to speak for them, but they said okay to it. But that's these issues that I'm dealing with, Your Honor. I appreciate what you're saying with respect to the defamation case and discovery in that matter too. But that's why here, I think the appropriate scope for this case is, as you've laid out before, which is what happened to Officer O'Keefe on that night. And on that point, as we put down our briefing, Colin Albert simply doesn't have a lot to say.
He's just going to start arguing.
Yeah, we'll consider. No.
What depositions are scheduled for Monday? And I should know because I asked you for the calendar, but sorry, I don't remember.
You know, Dan, Monday is. Monday is Nicole Albert, but that's going to be subject. That's a subject of a separate motion to compel. That's pending via 9A. That's going to be filed hopefully early next week.
Great. So hate to ruin your weekend, but you and your team can review what you got.
Actually, that's a great question. Oh, that is a great question. It was, who asked that? Karina. Hello to our friends in Sweden. The first poll I asked was, will Colin Albert be forced to face Alan Jackson in a deposition before August? Almost 400 of you voted. 80% of you said yes, 9% of you said no, 11% of you said I'm here for popcorn and towels. Okay, I don't have any popcorn, but we have a lot of towels. I have some Chex. It's honey Chex. It's really good. I ate too much of it earlier, though. You don't want to eat too much Chex. It kind of made my stomach upset. Anyway, it's really good, though. Say, things are a little glitchy. Hello, I'm back. No. Turbulence on air towel. I don't think I'm the only stream running into a little bit of turbulence. But yeah, there's some turbulence on air towel today. But the hearing has not started today. I don't know what to tell you. I got some people who are there. I'm trying to find out what's going on. I don't really know what to tell you. I know Judge Gilday had a busy docket. I studied the docket this morning. He had a jury trial, and maybe the jury trial went long. At a certain point, we might have to call down the clerk's office because you can't just make everybody wait. And the court's only open for like 45 more minutes. They're having this hearing. There's no doubt about it. It's possible Judge Gilday was tied up in other matters. They have to wait on the judge. They're changing courtrooms. Okay, so I have an update from the venerated reporter towel, Trust is Love Always. Thank you so much. There will be a hearing, but they're just setting up to switch into the other courtroom. So there is a hearing. The reason for the delay is they are switching courtrooms. Now, I had a feeling it was going to be something like this. Why did I know? Because there was a jury trial in front of Judge Gildea today in the main courtroom, and then there was a motion hearing, and then they went back to the jury trial. I was monitoring the docket. So, as a result, I'm going to guess they didn't even have use of the main courtroom in Plymouth Superior Court. Hello, Chap on Bunny. How are you doing? Hi, Kofi. Kofi's a dog. Kofi, we were talking about you earlier. A bunch of people posted your emoji. It was great. Hi, Petty, which, frankly, is to be expected. Now, there's also some turbulence. It's not just me, apparently. There's some general turbulence today. So if you get any buffering, if you get stuck in a buffer loop, just reset. It'll come back up in like 10 seconds. I run through an RTMP client, so it doesn't really matter if like server-side stuff goes down. I can just push through it. But yes, I have just gotten an update from our venerated reporter towel, Trust is Love Always, that they are having the hearing, but they had to switch courtrooms. So the reason why we are delayed is that they are switching courtrooms. Now, we are watching the hearing from last week. We got about 5 minutes left. Let's see if we can finish this before today's hearing begins. My name is Grant Smith Ellis. Thank you so much for watching Towel News. Shout out to all the cupcakes and all the towels. Towel-based cupcakes, cupcake-based towels. I think we should do towel-based cupcakes because then you can eat them. If you had a cupcake-based towel, that would be pretty cool, but you couldn't eat it. Hashtag, I'm a towel.
Today, and the two of you can talk. We can all come back Monday afternoon.
Wait a minute. Uh-oh. CBS took their video down. What's going on here? What has happened, ladies and gentlemen? Why has CBS taken their video down? Oh, this is not good. Where is our pool feed? I repeat, where is our pool feed? Alright, we're going to have to do this crowdsource. Attorney Little has just realized it as well. Okay, where is this stream? What is going on? What is happening? Alright, hold on. Let's try the Zoom. Wait a minute. I have a backup playing. I'm a towel with a backup playing. Hello, Denmark. You are welcome into the fold if you want to support the USA World Cup team this year. I'm totally down with that. All right, so that's not good. All right, I have a backup playing. We're going to do this on the fly. They might be resetting the camera, but they wouldn't have taken the stream down for that. Yeah, but they would have left the stream up. I'm running over to the backup plan. Hold on. I'm running over to the backup plan. I'm not guaranteeing this is going to work, though. And Judge Gildea doesn't allow live streaming, so I can't even live stream it, even if I get onto the Zoom. He explicitly does not permit it. This puts us in such a difficult position, I don't know what to do. Oh, this is very unfortunate. I do have a backup plan, but that doesn't mean that I can actually effectuate it, because if I get into the Zoom, you aren't allowed to listen to it or watch it. So my backup plan is disaffectuated. All right, what court? What? Yeah, I don't see it anywhere. Oh my goodness. Hello, Towel Girlfriend. All right, so the best thing people can do is, I'm keeping an eye on Attorney Little's stream. People should probably check Twitter as well. We're looking for any updates about why this hearing has not been streamed, why CBS Boston took their feed down, and in the alternative, if anyone has a backup stream. All right. Oh, I know what I can do. Wait a minute. I can check mass courts. Hold on. Let me check mass courts. I'm an efficient towel. Hold on. You got to think in these situations. If anything happened in court, they have to denote it on the record. If the hearing got canceled, they got to denote it on the record. So we're just going to go check the record. I did hear there was a new courtroom. However, CBS just took their feed down. So even if there's a new courtroom, I would have anticipated they would have kept their feed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Superior Court in Plymouth County. Want to say welcome to Justice Anti-Freedom, or And Freedom. Want to say welcome to Angeli. Enjoy your towel wrench. Hello, that girl. Enjoy your towel wrench. I think I got everybody. Oh, D-Nice. I have to do that as well. D-Nice says, they said the court got moved to a different room, so I bet they don't have a camera. Yeah, but they could just move the camera, hopefully. Hello, Lorena. It's so good to see you. How are you doing? All right, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm in Plymouth Superior Court in Mass Courts in the public version, and I'm looking at the docket. And I'm going to look at the docket, and I'm going to tell you what it says. Let's just look at the docket together. It'll be an exercise in learning. All right, so you pull up Mass Courts. That's Mass Courts. All right, then you scroll. Okay, there's a lot of lawyers on this case, so it takes a little while. Now, what you're looking for is the docket. All right, here's what it says about today. The hearing is in Criminal 4, Plymouth. I repeat, according to the docket, unless it's changed more recently, it's in Criminal 4. It has not been held, as far as I can tell. Wait a minute. Oh, right. Okay, so they moved it from Civil D, Plymouth, to Criminal 4, Plymouth. So the hearing is on. It has been moved to Criminal 4. I don't think anything has been docketed. So, wait, what? Okay, so it moved to today, same similar time, in the 4th criminal session of the Superior Courtroom. Maybe they were using the other court. So anyway, it's in the fourth criminal session. Now, even if there is a Zoom, I am not entitled to show you the Zoom. But actually, you know what? Let me log on to the Zoom on my phone, and then I can turn the volume really down low and just tell you what, I can just narrate it in real time. But then again, shouldn't I make a copy of it? Isn't someone's there? How has the pool for this, like, we're one pool, how have we all failed so badly? I don't even understand. All right, let me see. So let's check this out. I'm gonna join 161755517. All right, let's see what happens. Nope, the Zoom is not even active. The host hasn't even started it, so there is no Zoom either. All right, we're at the whim of the people in the courtroom. I have checked the Zoom. All right, we are at the whim of the people in the courtroom. Now, if you want to check all the Zooms, I know. Listen, we need to see this hearing. It's a very important matter of the public record. All right. So it's and I feel very bad for my colleagues in the pool because we're very dependent. They only let one person be the pool. So we're dependent on like that station that claims it. And once you put up a thing, you're basically saying as WBZ, you're going to go there and do it. So yeah, we all of us collectively, it's not, we're doing our very, very best in real time. But as far as I can see, it's moved courtroom, so we could just be delayed. But there isn't actually any news station with like a feed up or a feed expecting to go up. Now, I do have multiple streams, and we will finish last week's hearing, and then the court closes in 35 minutes, so whatever happens, we're in it together.
3 o'clock. Talk about this again. Does that work for everyone?
When you said your team, were you talking to Mr. Buck? Okay. Okay. Let me just make sure.
Zoom or in person, Your Honor?
In person.
Perfect.
So that was Judge confirming today's hearing is in person.
Yes, that works.
I will not be available, Your Honor. I think I mentioned this at our Rule 16 conference. I'll be gone for a while.
Maybe you have someone that could report on the results of your discussions.
Certainly, I can do that, Your Honor. And that's part of the issue with respect to resources. Obviously, I have my colleague Kieran Murphy, who's here with me, pro-hocked into the defamation case. It costs money to do that. It's not cheap, so I can try to find someone in my office to respond, or he can respond without appearing before Your Honor, and then we can figure out.
We have no objection to making that easier, however we can.
Oh, just want to say thank you to Christine. Christine Mitchell says, thank you, Grant, for your reporting. My pleasure. I am a scrambling towel. God bless you, Christine. That was so kind. You all are very kind to support Towel News as we all scramble to get this feed wherever it may be.
To the extent there's a way that Mr. Murphy can appear, we're fine with it.
We'll let him appear. All right?
Yes, I mean, I'd asked today, I understand
Hi, Pick a Handle. It's so good to see you. How are you, my friend? God bless you.
that he's not pro-hocked into this case, that's all.
We have no
Telling.
We'll keep it a
Enjoy your
secret.
vacation. After you talk about Attorney Rosenberg.
Yes.
Anything else? You have other motions that are coming?
Yeah, we do. We have a motion to compel that's coming. Again, next week. I think the opposition is due early next week. It'll be filed with you shortly. There's one pending motion from the plaintiffs, I believe, seeking additional information in response to interrogatories. That's it, I think.
At the moment, I believe that's accurate.
Okay, well, see if you can agree amongst yourselves as to what date to have another hearing the week of June 29th on those motions. Soon to be filed, all right? You don't need to do it right now. All right, anything else?
First of all, I want to say corruption revealed. Very good question. I don't have a theory on the mystery man yet. Based on the card swipes, I think we can exclude a lot of people. I think we have to do a formal diagnosis of exclusion or opinion of exclusion, rule people out, and then determine who could have been there and when. I also want to say welcome to all the folks who are getting their towel wrenches. Someone else asked if this hearing is from today or last week. This was the June 17th hearing. No one knows what's going on with today's hearing. I know one person who is there. I'm trying to get some information for you. Welcome to Deborah Scott as well. And as soon as I have that information, I will give it to you. As far as I understand, and I confirmed on mass courts, the court has moved the hearing to a different courtroom, to Criminal 4. I checked the Criminal 4 Zoom. It's not on. It's not started. They probably won't start it, which means there's got to be a court camera in that room. Someone is going to film this or record it live. We're going to get this. I will not allow this to not go aired. There's a cameraman there. It would be dereliction of duty. So, Auto 1630, thank you again. God bless you. Enjoy your towel wrench. You were so kind earlier. But yes, it's not just me. The group of us who cover this are all looking to find a feed. The second we have one, I assure you, you all will know.
Can we address one topic at sidebar briefly, Roman? Thank you.
So this was last week's hearing. Now, I must say I'm a little frustrated. We can do some other updates about what's been going on, but really this hearing is very important. All right, it can't just not air. Like, someone has to have it, and I will continue to search until I get it. If we go to the end of court and there's like no coverage of it, we'll have to come back when someone has the recording. That can take like a full day though. But I'll stick around. I'll monitor. I'll see what I can do. Yes, I know at least one person who is there. I'm trying to get information, but that doesn't mean they have their phone on them. I tried to go today. I wasn't feeling well. I'm feeling a little bit better. Okay, I'm hearing a report that Boozy Beauty has just left the courthouse. Today's hearing was longer than expected. Boozy Beauty just left. They didn't allow cameras. She may tweet. Boozy has apparently just left court. Okay, so they did not allow what? I've never heard of this before. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is true, this is a stunning development. My name is Grant Smith Ellis, reporting for Towel News. It's 4 p.m. on the dot. I am hearing initial reports that on the day after the solstice, of all days, cameras were not allowed in the courtroom at all, for today's Colin Albert motion to compel hearing. Now, through intermediary, the wonderful Emily C., I'm hearing it is reported that Boozy Beauty was in the courtroom. Now, if Boozy Beauty, I did message her. If someone wants to say, Boozy Beauty, you should come on Towel Stream and tell the world what happened, Towel is willing to do it. I can send her a Zoom. She can just call me. We can do this. She can just speak into the phone. She can be reporter Towel, Queen of France, Boozy Beauty. But yes, I would love to tell the world what happened. Now, if Boozy Beauty tweets, I mean, ideally she could go live and then I could just play the live. That would be nice. Okay, we're going to use the most rudimentary form of communication possible. It's like back when you would just yell things and then it would get spread. Okay, I'm going to say to Boozy Beauty on the stream, you should do a live video and tell us all what happened in court so I can replay or stream it live and show people. Okay, now you all, we do this, it's not a long message, all right? We don't want to telephone this. Don't have her thinking she's got to fly to like some European country and do an on-the-ground report about like, I don't know, some strange thing. We don't need to get involved like the Italian Prime Minister. That would be hilarious, frankly. But if you send her off on that direction, she might conquer other countries in the name of France. She might bring baguettes to the Italians. Do you know what would happen if you introduce baguettes to the Italians? We can't be having that. My point is, she should go live, okay? While she is live, I can then play the live. She could also tweet. I could then read the tweet. This is how we're going to do this. My conventional media colleagues have failed me. The court system has failed us all. I'm going to rant. You can't do this. You can't not allow the hearing to be seen. How are we supposed to know what happened? This is a travesty. It's a sham. It's a mockery. I'm going to complain. I'm complaining right now, I suppose. I'm going to complain louder. Entirely unacceptable. Completely and entirely unacceptable. I'm just hearing initial reports, all right? I haven't seen the formal confirmation. I checked the Zoom. Oh, wonderful Towel girlfriend, genius. I did check the Zoom. McMuffin, welcome to Towel membership. Thank you so much for supporting Towel Channel. Now, my plan, ladies and gentlemen, is to sit here and monitor. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody might have tweeted. Nope, that wasn't about that. That was about the James Sullivan allegation from Boozy Beauty. That was a very good write-up from Boozy Beauty. I do want to read that write-up from her. Hold on. Boozy Beauty, can you please tell us what's going on in court? I must know. All right, I'm going to repost this. We're going to listen to Boozy. How about this? We're going to summon the Baguette Queen of France. We're going to summon her. You know how we're going to summon her? So we finished that hearing. All they do is set the next date. But I have a plan. We're going to read Boozy Beauty's report about James Sullivan, one of the witnesses in the Reed case, just like attorney Melanie Little. We're going to summon Boozy Beauty to do a live and tell us what happened. Now, if you're a Boozy Beauty whisperer out there, you should tell her to go live. Otherwise she'd have to be interviewed on every channel. She should just go live and tell. So as I was saying, what you want to do, ideally when you're in federal court and they ban cameras, is you want to have somebody get up there and just do a live from outside the courthouse or do a pre-recorded video and upload it. It's the best way to do it rather than all the interviews. Now this is Boozy Beauty. She's the Baguette Queen of France. All right, so she's wonderful. Now we are hoping, although there was no stream, I haven't got confirmation. I heard initial reports there was no cameras allowed at all. If that's the case, that's a big problem. But yes, my best recommendation for those of you out there who have the ability to relay information is Boozy Beauty should just do a recording like of herself at the courthouse and say this is what happened, and she can film Karen if she walks out. She can just do the whole thing and then tell us what happened. So yes, we're going to use what's called the Baguette Queen of France symbol. We're going to flash it in the sky. And then she's going to see it, and she's going to go live or write up a post. But yeah, for now, we're going to listen to her report, read by British Reporter Towel. It was really good. It was a report this morning about one of the witnesses who apparently was like confronted with his police interview by Chris Albert before the police interview was public. So we're going to listen to this. We're going to try to get a report from court, and we're going to find out what the hell happened today. Hello, Anthony Barton. # Save North Korea. From the commies.
Conversation. A Canton resident who was at CF McCarthy's with John O'Keefe and Karen Reid has now decided to tell his story. James Sullivan says his police interview was leaked shortly after he gave it in May 2022. He alleges Christopher Albert confronted him in June 2022 with details from his witness statement before it was public. Sullivan also claims Sergeant Sean Good said the Canton police were great at covering up murders. Days later, he says he received an anonymous text containing a photo of him and Karen from CF McCarthy's, along with false personal allegations. If Sullivan's allegations are true, they raise serious questions about how witness information was handled and whether a cooperating witness was intimidated or retaliated against instead of protected. One question deserves an answer. How was Sullivan's interview leaked? According to the police report, only James Sullivan, Trooper Michael Proctor, and Trooper Christopher Moore were present during the interview. Sullivan would not have had a copy of the police report. If Christopher Albert knew details from that interview before they became public, how did he learn them? Massachusetts Witness Intimidation Statute, MGL Circa 268, Section 13b, prohibits intimidating, harassing, misleading, or retaliating against someone because they provided information in a criminal investigation. If Sullivan's account is accurate, it appears far more consistent with the type of conduct this statute was intended to address than the witness intimidation allegations brought against Karen Reid and Aidan Kearney. Just as concerning are the implications if a law enforcement officer retaliated against or attempted to intimidate a private citizen simply because that citizen did not believe the Commonwealth's theory of the case. Citizens are free to question the government's narrative, discuss the evidence, and form their own opinions without fear of harassment or retaliation. If those allegations are true, they strike at the heart of the public's trust in law enforcement. It is also worth noting that Trooper Proctor lived in Canton, and Lieutenant Brian Tully was seen in town on multiple occasions socializing with certain witnesses during the investigation. Those facts do not establish who leaked Sullivan's interview, but they do raise legitimate questions about how confidential witness information may have been handled.
Excellent report from Boozy Beauty. Now listen, I have news. I can go to mass courts and find out what happened at the court today, if they update it. Now, clerk is going to update it before she leaves. That's it. That's what we're doing. I'm going to do we're multi-toweling. I am a multi-toweler right now. I'm going to check mass courts. I'm going to monitor social media, and I'm going to find out what happened in this hearing. We can order the, what's it called? It's called JAVS in Nevada. What the hell is it called? FTR in Massachusetts. Hi, Fritzy. Oh, justice for OJO. I know, listen, during the war, I picked up a towel cigar habit. I'm trying to stop. And towel cigars during wartime were acceptable, but now I think I can relax a little bit on them. But yeah, I'm trying to check mass courts for you. Come on, mass courts. You just got like a refresh over the weekend. Why are you struggling? I got it. They just did maintenance on mass courts, so I'm checking the mass courts for you again. I'm gonna get you can't just have like a secret hearing. You have to put on the docket what happened in the damn hearing. Nope. Smoking is bad. Smoking is bad. Even as a war reporter, I still would say smoking's bad. What's going on, mass courts? Come on now. Give me 1 second. Towel cigars are the best. I agree. Mass courts is struggling. They just did an update on it too, and it's still struggling. What did we do this update for? If only for it to struggle. Fine, I'll do it on my phone. Fine. How much multi-toweling can one man do, seriously? I'm getting an answer. There's no such thing as a secret court hearing. I'm going to find out. The docket says, yes, well, the first one was rescheduled, but I heard that there was an actual hearing. All right, I have it here. By rescheduled, I mean it was moved to a different courtroom. All right, I got the docket. Hashtag towel the docket monitor. This is what a lot of my life entails, monitoring the docket. All right, we're back at our docket. This is what you do. This is what we're resorting to. What does it say? No update yet. So the first one was rescheduled, but the second one, 6/22/2026, 3 p.m., criminal 4, no update there. What's it say down here? So all the rescheduled was going to the other courtroom. I'm waiting till this docket note goes up. That's it. That's it. Nope. I refute. Nope. Nope. We'll cover other stuff until that. I am sticking on this till I get an answer. I am not going to not be able to find out what happened in a court hearing. Hello, Shell. It's so good to see you. Mimi, how are you, my dear friend? God bless you. You're so wonderful. Mimi has a baby goat named Ellie. Mimi, you just raise my spirits right up all the time. Good to see you, Fridge Breaker, as well. All right, so here's what we're doing. I refuse to exist in a state where I cannot find out what happened during a court hearing. That's wrong. It's illegal. It's a violation of intergalactic towel law. I won't allow it to happen. I am going to find out what happened in that hearing, come hell or high water. I'll put every resource I have into it. Every resource I have. Now listen, you can tell this if I'm right about this, and this hearing was a big deal. All the private intelligence operatives who have been trying to protect the Morrissey machine, the state police, Kate Peter, the witnesses, all of them, they will right now go nuts. They'll throw some distraction out there. They'll throw their last operatives onto the fire, and they'll have them just burn themselves. They'll all come out as anti-Karen Reed and anti-Turtle Boy, and they'll try to throw as much stuff at the wall as they possibly can, if today was a big day, if I'm right. So watch for that. And anyone who backs them is a stoolie. Mark my words. Anyone who backs anyone coming out with drama after this hearing is a stoolie. You can tell it's a sign. It's what's called a tell in polka. So I don't know what's going to happen, but just watch. There's only so many operatives left that were close to Karen or Aiden or both. Their operation to split Karen and Aiden failed, so their only option left now, if things are bad, is to create a distraction. And anyone who joins in, promotes it, whatever, you can tell they're compromised. All right, because whatever happened at this hearing must be a big deal. I can already tell you. Ellie, how are you doing? Ellie and Mimi have been sending our best disco thoughts today. Thank you, Mimi. But yes, courts close in 16 minutes. This docket will be updated. They don't just close the day. The clerk has to update the docket before they go home. I think the whole thing... Hello, Share Bear. Good to see you. This whole thing... The notion that the public can't find out what happened at a court hearing is so antithetical to democracy. Watch there be something absolutely wild that comes out from this hearing, and they kept it from the public. Oh, I can't get down there right now. I've been cutting expenses, so I have a card that's supposed to be given to me. It's complicated, but I don't have it yet. And I did reach out to see if anyone was going, but yeah, I can't take an Uber down to Plymouth. It's not worth it. But yeah, so I would have loved to have gone. I mean, clearly I should have been there. But yeah, so we'll be able to tell. We're gonna wait 15 minutes. I'm gonna just breathe a little bit, but something must have happened, because there's no way you just keep cameras out of the courtroom, especially when WBZ was there to broadcast it and put their thing up hours ahead of time. So whatever happened, it must have been a big deal. Johnny7574, welcome. Enjoy your new towel emojis. We have goat emojis. We have towel emojis. We have Kofi the dog. Hi, Kofi. You're a dog. We have sheep emojis. We have penguin emojis. Towel Chat Mom Lynn loves the penguin emojis. We just have really good towel emojis. I'm not leaving, though, until I get you an answer. I don't care if I have to sit here for 16 minutes and just monitor the docket. You can watch what I would do in this situation. And frankly, you should be upset. You absolutely should be upset that we don't know what happened in that hearing. First of all, there are disabled people. So, like, I didn't have a good day today. Even if I, like, had the ability to go, I don't know if I would have gone. I wasn't feeling great. Second of all, so you can't just lock people out because of their physical inability to get to an obscure courthouse in Plymouth. Second of all, if it is true that no cameras were allowed in the court, which is unconfirmed as of now, I'm trying to find out, that's an outrage. Oh, God bless you all. Yeah, there is a Towel Food Fund. There's a Cash App. There's a Venmo, Towel News, Money Sign Grant Smith Ellis, Venmo at Grant-E1, PayPal.me/Grant Ellis. Yeah, you know, it was a bit of a tough month, a bit of a weird month. But anyway, keep pushing on, try to do good things, help people out. You're all wonderful. Hashtag save the goats. Yes, and so just so you all know, no matter what, by tomorrow, we will have the audio of this hearing. Because if I put in, or anyone puts in an FTR, you get that, like, the next day. We will get the audio. You can't get it today. Oh, thank you so much for that start, Interpretal. You're wonderful. I hope you and Washcloth are doing great. All right, so I'm going to get you an answer, though. We have 13 minutes. The court's not closing without a docket update. Either the hearing... I know the hearing happened, because apparently Boozy Beauty was in the hearing. All right. I'm going to ask some of my towel sources. Hashtag towel sources. Well, this is just outrageous. Like, you can't effectively participate in government, and the judiciary is one branch of government, unless you have access to the hearing. I'm not giving up, though. I will not be deterred. So yeah, the court will close in 12 minutes. That docket will get updated, and I'm going to tell you what it says. Steele, I am covering Officer Nick O'Malley's case a little bit. David Yannetti actually retweeted me yesterday. We can take a look at that. Let's see if Boozy Beauty gave any updates. Did you give any updates, Boozy Beauty? Go live. Hashtag Boozy Beauty go live. Nothing yet from Boozy Beauty. She's the only one I know confirmed that was there. I imagine Mr. and Mrs. Sweeney were there as well. Let me show you the post from David Yannetti, though. Give me 1 second. Take a look at mass courts while I bring this up. I have been covering the Boston police officer who was charged by the Suffolk DA for trying to stop a felony carjacking to save people. All right, I thought it was disgraceful that this happened, that he was charged. All right, and I want to show you David Yannetti, the lawyer for Karen Reed. He's a great lawyer. He's a lawyer for a number of people. I'm going to show you his post yesterday. He actually reshared a post that I posted. So you can see right here. I was kind of like baffled because there was a man who carjacked people in, I think it was, might have been Roxbury, maybe Dorchester, maybe at the line. I don't know. But he carjacked someone. He, thank you so much, Dark Passenger. Keep me updated. If anyone finds any updates about the case before 4:30, of course, let me know, and I'll take that update and put it up on the screen. There was a carjacker 2 days ago, and he killed a pedestrian. Okay, to the absolute credit of all these bystanders, they didn't look the other way. They intervened. Now, you may not know this, folks, but I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice, but I did go to law school. In Massachusetts, if someone commits a felony in front of you, and I don't mean they pushed over a plant. I mean, like, they run someone over and then they crash. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. You are absolutely within your rights to, we have a TikTok. Ladies and gentlemen, I repeat, we have an update from Boozy Beauty on TikTok. We have a TikTok. Hashtag TikTok. We have a Boozy Beauty TikTok. I'm going to play it. She did it. She uploaded it. All right. We have the update from the one and only Boozy Beauty. I knew sticking it out would be worth it. Hold on. Where's the volume? Where's the volume button? Volume button, please. I don't know how to make the TikTok do the volume thing. Where's the volume? Let's go, TikTok. Come on now. Do I have to unmute it or something? It's not muted. Oh, it's up here. Hold on. No, I don't want to sign into TikTok. Let's go.
Video coming up, but just going over the basics of what happened. So last week we heard that Attorney Tuxbury was not going to be available for this hearing, and we all thought that his associate, Attorney Murphy, was going to be stepping in for him. But no, that's not who showed up. Mr. Bigwig from Connecticut, Attorney Chris Maddie, actually showed up. The issue is, though, he's not pro-hawked, aka he's not allowed in this case, but just out of desperation, no one objected for him to argue on the behalf of Colin Albert. And what we all expected, his main argument that now Colin Albert is active duty and they're really trying to reframe Colin's character here. And again, they're saying that Attorney Rosenberg, who is one of Karen Reed's attorneys, completely canceled the subpoena in order to not depose Colin Albert, which we all know that is not what the email said. The email said rescheduled because they don't have the documentation yet, because Colin Albert has not given any documents. And the main issue is Attorney Maddie stated that he has tried calling whoever he has to call at the U.S. Army 4 times now, has left 4 different messages, and has not gotten a response. But he is also stating that Colin Albert is not in this ASVAB training, that he is in basic training. However, that's not what Tuxbury said. Tuxbury said he was in a 3-week school. So technically speaking, Colin is not enlisted yet. He can be pulled out of this school at any point. But they're essentially making it out to be like, nope, it's so impossible, no one's answering us, Colin's a non-party, he's a victim, look at him building his character, yada yada yada. And of course, Attorney Rosenberg, Karen Reed's attorney, is like, okay, we will help you in whatever way we need to, but as a reminder, we are rescheduling the deposition. We never canceled it. So whatever you need to help push this along, let's do it. Let's figure out the documentation and let's figure out the deposition. But even the communications over the weekend regarding the documentation that Colin Albert is supposed to hand over is still pending. They're still arguing over it because Colin's side is trying to say that, well, it's too broad, and we even agreed to expand a little bit. And essentially what they told Rosenberg on Friday was like such a limited expansion. So then Rosenberg, Karen's side, significantly cut it down, like compared to what they were asking for. And even still, they don't want to hand over on Colin Albert's side. They don't want to hand over whatever they want. Attorney Maddie's main argument being relevance. That's essentially it. And if you actually know the rules, like he's a non-third party, so he doesn't really have the chance to even object to relevance of the documentation. You can argue scope and the burden, but you can't argue much of anything else that they were trying to do. So that is on a to be continued. There's also a big update on the motion to compel in regard to Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, and Allie McCabe, as well as Brian Tully. I kid you not, no one wants to be deposed. No, why are they all running scared? If none of you did anything wrong, why are you all so nervous? Anyways, I will have a full in-depth video coming soon. I need to drive home. I'm still at the courthouse.
Oh my word, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it there first. Breaking from the venerated reporter towel, the baguette-based Queen of France herself, Boozy Beauty, first aired on Towel News thanks to the vigilant towel reporters. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Tully's trying to duck his deposition with Karen Reed. We knew it. You knew it was going to be big. And they sent up the guy from Connecticut who wasn't even pro-hawked into the case, one of the Ham defendant lawyers, to try to argue on behalf of Colin Albert, and then suddenly there's no cameras in the courtroom. This is Massachusetts. You are a guest here, sir. What is going on here? I demand an explanation. My name is Grant Smith Ellis, and I have questions. I have lots of questions. What is going on? Oh, you called you called the Army 4 times? Well, one time I called the Department of Defense main line. They couldn't really do very much for me. I guess that technically counts as calling someone at the Army. What did you do? Call the switchboard and ask to speak to the Secretary of War? Well, Judge, I made an effort. I called the Army. Well, Judge, I called down to the Pentagon switchboard and I said, I have questions about Colin Albert. And they said, sir, this is the Pentagon. What are you talking about? Outrageous. Outrageous. Well, we have our update. There you go. Within seconds, we had no cameras in the courtroom. I'm cutting a report on this. Then I'm writing it up. Then I'm going to go yell about things. Thank you all for your support of Towel Channel. Just outrageous. Outrageous. You don't keep cameras out of my damn courtroom. I demand satisfaction. I'm going to petition my government. Redress of my grievances. I have grievances. I'm mad. Can't even cut my report because I'm all mad. Making me all mad. We're keeping the damn cameras out of damn courtrooms. Get the audio. I bet people yelled. Brian Tully won't attend his deposition. I'm mad. That's a great emoji, Johnny. You're using your towel membership well. All right, let's cut a report. All right. We'll cut a report. How about that? What time is it? 4:26? All right. Let me breathe a little bit. Breaking towel news. Well, I'm sure. So Boozy Beauty did a good job. Boozy Beauty, I think she should go to law school. Should we, like, collectively get Boozy Beauty to go to law school? She's really smart, and she's a good writer, and she understands the court process, and I think we should send her to law school. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag send Boozy Beauty to law school. Hold on a second. Frame drop. Anyway, so I'm going to cut a report here. Give me a second. Let me breathe a little bit. Let me get settled. Let me take a few breaths. We should be back. There we are. All right. So, hashtag send the Queen of France to law school. But also, Boozy Beauty is not trained as a lawyer. So, it's great that she was there. She's really good at reporting. She knows the case really well. So that was great. But notice, and why I need the audio, is a lot of her reporting was on, like, the people and the substance and who's where and what's going to happen. I guarantee you there was a lot of procedural machinations. Like, lawyers and judges talk in legalese. So they don't say like the rule of evidence means this, or the rule of summary process service, or you have to do things this way. They just say, well, under 6A it says this, and you just have to know all of 6A and what it means and what the title is and its interpretation. And when they won't say like Diaz v. Commonwealth from 1997, case site 986 274 out of 278. No, they're going to be like, how Diaz interprets 6C, and you just have to know what that means. So I need to listen to the hearing, but this was a really good report, and it's enough for me to cut what I need to do and tell people what happened. I need to look at the docket. We have 2 minutes till it closes. I think in the interest of like robustness, I should probably look at the docket before I cut my report, but that's what we're going to do to close this, and it's important. And Boozy Beauty was on the ground. Hashtag better than WBZ, hashtag better than WCVB, hashtag better than Channel 10, better than NBC, better than them all. Reporter Towel, baguette-based Queen of France, Boozy Beauty, cutting the very best overview that one could possibly imagine, not just from a baguette-based Queen of France, but from anyone. That's what you do. You want to be a good venerated Reporter Towel, or the Queen of France, I suppose. You go to the court. You watch what happens. If they won't let cameras in, you run outside, you sprint, you take a camera, you put it in your face, and then you say what happened into the camera. Hashtag excellent towel reporting. All right. Let me just check the docket. I have an obligation to check the docket. We must learn about what the docket says. Come on, clerk. Tell me what I need to know. Clerk can't go home until they write up what happened on the docket. No, they haven't written it up yet. It still says the next event is for today. What, are they working late? They must have had a busy day at the clerk's office. Clerk Margaret, when we're in Norfolk Superior Court, oh goodness, there's something that needs to go up on the docket. It's up on the docket during the hearing. That's why she's going to be the Secretary of Commerce. Don't tell her. It's a surprise. All right, I'm ready to cut my report. It's 4:30. I'm going to refresh it one more time. Come on, clerk. Please update the docket. I'm not waiting any longer. What, are they going to work late? They must have had a lot of stuff going on in the courthouse today because they haven't updated the docket. Or a lot of stuff happened at the hearing. All right. Let me cut my report. Let us get back to the beginning of this TikTok and then pause it. Hold on. Hello. Good evening. Let me take a breath. South Boston Kev, great to see you. How you doing? You came in at just the right moment. You been hanging around any Sally Ports lately? All right. What was our poll? Do you think Judge Gildea is a fair jurist so far in the Karen Reed and John O'Keefe civil case? 300 of you voted. 47% of you said yes. 10% of you said no. 38% of you said undecided, and 5% of you just want to save the goats. Which, frankly, I mean, save the goats. All right, here we go. Good evening. My name is Grant Smith Ellis, reporting to you for Towel News, youtube.com/@GrantSmithEllis. Now, this afternoon, there was a massive and much anticipated motion to compel hearing in the John O'Keefe and Karen Reed civil case. This one of 4 civil cases ongoing related to the yet unsolved death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe on the night into the early morning of January 28th into January 29th of 2022. So during today's hearing, this was supposed to be a continuation of a hearing last week about a motion to compel for witness Colin Albert. Now, it was revealed, and we're going to hear it in just a moment, from a reporter named Boozy Beauty, who is also known as the baguette-based Queen of France. Don't ask too many questions, just go with it. Who was in the courtroom and provided an exclusive report via her TikTok that I'm going to play for you in just a minute about what went down today. What did we find out? Well, primarily, we learned that the lawyer from Connecticut representing some of the Ham defendants, they're defendants in one of the cases, plaintiffs in another case, there's a lot going on. One of the lawyers came up from Connecticut personally to tell Judge Gildea that Colin Albert, who was supposed to be deposed and has yet to have that happen, is in basic training in the Army, and the lawyer tried to call the Army, according to reporter Tal Boozy Beauty, 4 times and got nothing as to when Colin Albert can be deposed. Now, we don't have the audio or video in court, as far as I know. Why? Because apparently cameras were not allowed in the courtroom. I don't have confirmation of that. There will be an audio of this hearing released within, I would imagine, the next 12 to 24 hours through something called the FTR, for the record recording system. However, that costs $10 per hearing to request. Someone will do it. Now, if cameras were not allowed in the courtroom, that means one of the only reports that we're going to get is the erudite, Miss Boozy Beauty, the baguette-based Queen of France, who will tell you that not only did Colin Albert make no progress, apparently, as to complying with his deposition from Alan Jackson, but there is a new name on the list of witnesses that Karen Reed is going to have to compel to attend a deposition with the much-feared Alan Jackson, potentially, and his name is Brian Tully, recently retired commander of the Norfolk District Attorney Michael Morrissey State Police Detective Unit, who was in charge of his first officer, John Fanning, and his sergeant, Yuri Buchanan, both of whom used to work in the Stoughton Police Department, which is a town near Canton, where Matthew Farwell worked, the man who's a former police officer about to go on federal trial in August of 2026 for the murder of Sandra Birchmore in Canton. Brian Tully is and also the same unit that investigated Karen Reed for the death of John O'Keefe, and the same unit that was involved in Proctorgate, the infamous Michael Proctor text message chain with Sergeant Sean Good and other police officers that contained abhorrent, racist, anti-Semitic, misogynistic, and every bigoted term you can imagine under the sun, including pictures of young black children in cages with white children outside mocking them. It was disgusting. That's the least of what was in those messages. This was that state police unit. Brian Tully is apparently avoiding his deposition and will need to be subject to a motion to compel to be forced to be subject to questioning by Alan Action Jackson. Now, we're going to listen to the report. There are a number of other witnesses, including Brian Higgins, Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, and others who also apparently are going to be subject to motions to compel. We're going to listen to veterated reporter Tal Boozy Beauty right now, relay her on-the-ground report from just minutes ago at Judge Gildea's Plymouth Superior Court, where Boozy Beauty recorded this outside the courtroom. Take it away, reporter Tal Boozy Beauty.
Out of the hearing about Colin Albert's deposition. Now, this was continued until today from last week. We'll have a more in-depth video coming up, but just going over the basics of what happened. So last week we heard that Attorney Tewksbury was not going to be available for this hearing, and we all thought that his associate, Attorney Murphy, was going to be stepping in for him. But no, that's not who showed up. Mr. Bigwig from Connecticut, Attorney Chris Maddie, actually showed up. The issue is, though, he's not pro-hawked, aka he's not allowed in this case, but just out of desperation, no one objected for him to argue on the behalf of Colin Albert. And what we all expected, his main argument that now Colin Albert is active duty, and they're really trying to reframe Colin's character here. And again, they're saying that Attorney Rosenberg, who is one of Karen Reed's attorneys, completely canceled the subpoena in order to not depose Colin Albert, which we all know that's not what the email said. The email said rescheduled because they don't have the documentation yet, because Colin Albert has not given any documents. And the main issue is Attorney Maddie stated that he has tried calling whoever he has to call at the U.S. Army 4 times now, has left 4 messages, and not gotten a response. But he is also stating that Colin Albert in this ASVAB, he is in basic training. However, that's not what Tewksbury said. Tewksbury said he was in a 3-week school. So technically speaking, Colin is not enlisted yet. He can be pulled out of this school at any point. But they're essentially making it out to be like, nope, it's so impossible when answering us. Colin's a non-party, he's a victim, look at him building his character, yada, yada, yada. And of course, Attorney Rosenberg, Karen Reed's attorney, is like, okay, we will help you in whatever way we need to. But as a reminder, we are rescheduling the deposition. We never canceled it. So whatever you need to help push this along, let's do it. Let's figure out the documentation and let's figure out the deposition. But even the communications over the weekend regarding the documentation that Colin Albert is supposed to hand over is still pending. They are still arguing over it because Colin's side is trying to say that, well, it's too broad, and we even agreed to expand a little bit. And essentially what they told Rosenberg on Friday was like such a limited expansion. So then Rosenberg, Karen's side, significantly cut it down, like compared to what they were asking for. And even still, they don't want to hand over on Colin Albert's side. They don't want to hand over whatever they want. Attorney Maddie's main argument being relevance. That's essentially it. And if you actually know the rules, like he's a non-third party, so he doesn't really have the chance to even object to relevance of the documentation. You can argue scope and the burden, but you can't argue much of anything else they were trying to do. So that is on a to be continued. There's also a big update on the motion to compel in regards to Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, and Allie McCabe, as well as Brian Tully. I kid you not. No one wants to be deposed. No, why are they all running scared? If none of you did anything wrong, why are you all so nervous? Anyways, I will have a full in-depth video coming soon. I need to drive home. I'm still at the courthouse.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, oh, God bless you, South Boston Kev. My name is Grant Smith Ellis. That was the venerated baguette-based Queen of France, reporter towel herself, Booza Beauty, who did a great TikTok, check her out, on the proceedings today. Now, I will say it like this. When all other media fails, when our court system tries to insulate itself from accountability, who will be there? Boozy Beauty. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a glorious day. Despite some kind of efforts, moving the courtroom, not allowing a live feed, no active cameras, Boozy Beauty stepped up to the plate, salvaged the integrity of our representative system of governance, and yes, the judiciary does fall within one of those constitutional branches. Read it, the Constitution, if you don't believe me. Single-handedly picked up the slack for every other outlet and did what needed to be done. That is heroism, and that's why she's the Queen of France. So yes, my name is Grant Smith Ellis. You heard the developments. There will be more to come. I will check the docket one more time. The docket still has not been updated from today's hearing. Let me see. Wait a minute. Let's see if it's been updated. No, it hasn't been updated. Hold on. Stay with me. The clerk, I'll tell you this. Boozy Beauty got that report out before the clerk could update the docket as to what happened today. Now, if that is not a testament to efficiency, I don't know what is. But let me just say, as a final closing commentary, I'm disturbed, ladies and gentlemen. Not disturbed at that report. That was a great report. I'm disturbed that the public was not able to see this hearing. Okay? That's a fundamental maxim and check and balance on our system of governance. The legislature, public hearings. The regulatory agencies under Article 1. Did you know regulatory agencies are technically Article 1 courts? We're talking about Article 3 courts under the Constitution, where we're talking about civil and criminal courts. But they all should be open to the public and broadcast. This is a travesty, a shame, and a mockery. It's a travesty, a mockery. We're going backwards. We need to be going forwards. Now, in the context of access to the judiciary, the federal Senate has just advanced a bill that would see some federal court proceedings at the discretion of the judge broadcast and open to the public. So what has it come to? Maybe we'll find out someone got a recording of this and we'll post it after. But what has it come to? That we have no ability to watch this hearing, not only in real time, but yes, there isn't even information available. There isn't even information available as to whether it was recorded as of now. We can't have checks and balances on our government unless we have access to the branches of that government. And the fact that there is no recording of this hearing is deeply, deeply concerning. Maybe there will be one. I'm praying. But as of now, I will say I have a lot of concerns. If this hearing does get posted, we will watch it. Okay, because we deserve to watch it. But for now, thank you to Boozy Beauty for upholding the integrity of the American system of government single-handedly. That's why she's the Queen of France. I guess that doesn't make a lot of sense. Don't ask too many questions. The point is, God bless her for that. I think the world needed that report. Otherwise, nobody would have any idea what was going on. Now, I did run a poll just to close this out. I asked a lot of you earlier whether you thought Judge Gilday is a fair jurist so far in the Karen Reed and John O'Keefe civil cases. 46% of the nearly 400 respondents said yes. 38% said undecided. 11% said no. And 5% said save the goats. Now, thank you again to everyone who supported Towel News today. If you want to support this effort, this one-man effort, I'm the producer. I tried to find this information. You all help crowdsource it. You can do so via the Cash App on the screen, or the Venmo, or the PayPal. You can find them in the chat. # Grant Smith Ellis, Venmo at Grant-E1, PayPal.me/Grant Ellis. Now, I want to also let you know that, again, it's just, there is no way there's not some record of this hearing. There is a record of it by audio, by video. Someone got it, whether it's one of those two or both. And as soon as we get it, I will watch it with you. Because we're not just not seeing it. The intricacies of the interaction, the language, the demeanor, the tone of the voice of the jurist, of the judge, the lawyers, all of that's integral to the analysis, and I will watch this hearing. But I'm not just going to sit here gratuitously until we get a copy. It could take a day, and I also want to get some rest. It's been quite a day. I'm sure you all have had a wonderful day as well. That was an experience. It was much like reporting from reporting on a federal court matter. And if I had known that this would have played out this way, I would have made more arrangements to get down there. All right. So, with that said, is there anything else that we want to get caught up on? Any questions? I think Towel Girlfriend might be going to bed. So I was going to rush off to kind of say goodnight, but I'll just say I can do it here. Good night, my beautiful Towel Girlfriend. You're wonderful. Thank you so much for being you. I hope you sleep well. I hope you wake up nice and wonderful tomorrow morning. I'll look forward to talking to you when I wake up, and I absolutely adore and love you, and I hope you sleep very well. See, that's a unique thing that I get to do. I don't have to send her a message. I can just say it over the stream. She'll probably hear it. #on the towel. Alright, so that said, if you have any questions, now's the time. Well, I will monitor the docket for a little bit. I will see if I can get some updates for you. Oh, God bless you. Someone sent a donation on the Towel Venmo. If you got a heart from me, I'm very grateful. Thank you so much. Hold on. I'm going to click the heart. I will read our comment later, but for now, I just wanted to click the heart to let you know. Hi, Marcia. You're so wonderful. Hello, Marcia, my friend. God bless you. TA Sarah, TA Sarah just gave Bunny 67 billion bonus points. That's quite a lot. All right, so I cut that report from 4:30 to 4:45. Now we can move on to questions. And then also I can tell you more about the Nicholas O'Malley case. So David Yannetti posted about this. A lot of you should definitely keep this name in mind. Nicholas O'Malley was a Boston police officer who was on duty and stopped a violent carjacking and then was charged criminally for shooting the perp. So, with that said, my name is Grant Smith-Ellis. Do take a look at David Yannetti's tweets about the Nicholas O'Malley case, and certainly worth following. Nicholas O'Malley is facing charges by the Suffolk DA, although there's a motion to dismiss. I think that was filed. And I'll be trying to provide more coverage of that case going forward. Let me pause here, and then I do want to get that report up. But in the meantime, let me give you some other updates for what's been going on. What else has been going on? Oh, yes. So there was an attack today in Canada. All right. The footage is very intense. I'm not going to show it to you. It was a man in camo attacking police officers, and at least one of them has tragically passed away. It was in a Jewish neighborhood near a Chabad cultural center, a Chabad house, and it was a very densely populated Jewish neighborhood. Now, I am, at my discretion, for certain purposes, permitted to show newsworthy videos, okay, but I'm not showing this. One, there's no blood, okay, but I will describe it to you, and please be aware, this comes with a warning. This is a news roundup, because a lot of my Tao friends are here, and I just wanted to say hello to them. Let me just tell you, a lot of the footage you're going to see from Canada, you want to think seriously before you watch it. It shows a man in camo with a long gun. It's very loud, mercilessly slaughtering a male police officer, who then tries to get behind cover near a car and is rolling on the ground and then gets shot again. It's horrifying. The female police officer who's with him and is armed is trying to fight the suspect with a pistol. It does not work. It does not work. She manages to duck behind concrete cover. He actually flanks her, which is scary. His precision was scary. He flanked her while shooting. He takes her position. She's forced to retreat. While she's retreating, this coward shoots her in the back. And then he blasts about 5 to 10 seconds after that. Because he wasn't in cover. He thought he was in cover, but he wasn't. He was completely exposed on his back, on his 6, and he got lit up. And he did not live. But that was disgusting. With that, he was frankly a terrorist. There's no other way to describe it. When you take a long gun and you fire bullets and slaughter police officers in a Jewish cultural neighborhood, that's terrorism. It was in Montreal. It was near the Chabad house in Montreal, which is a deeply religious cultural neighborhood, but there's no confirmation as far as I know whether it was a targeted attack on that neighborhood. But it does raise questions because of its location, whether it was targeted terrorism. The cops got there quick. The suspect did get taken out very quickly, though. But we pray, again, people talk a lot about corruption, and I've said this before. We can talk about cop corruption, and we should put the spotlight on it, but we should never forget what police actually do. 90 to 98% of them. Most of them are willing to run at gunfire to save people or drive headlong on a highway at a wrong-way driver to save them, to save the public. And a lot of the discourse about police officers alienates people from wanting to serve in that profession. You got to have good cops in there to balance out those bad cops. So. But yes, my name is Grant Smith Ellis, and I will give you a little bit more of a news roundup because I haven't seen you all in a little bit. There was some intense attacks over the past few days in Ukraine and in Russia. In particular, in Russia, I'm going to show you the result of the targeting of, and this was with American-made missiles. There was a meeting with the G7 the other day that Zelensky went to, and he showed President Trump the footage of Putin bombing a 1,000-year-old cathedral, Christian cathedral. And President Trump must have given him the okay because Russia's defense industry got lit up during the workday today. This could be loud. Hello, the Glare. So good to see you. We just did the update from today's hearing. Boozy Beauty has it on her TikTok. Colin Albert, Chris Maffey, or that lawyer from Connecticut, came up personally and told the judge he tried to call the army 4 times, according to Reporter Tell and Queen of France, Boozy Beauty. And they still don't know when Colin's going to be deposed. Also, Brian Tully is apparently avoiding his deposition is going to need to be subject to a motion to compel. Hashtag shout out the Glare. This is footage from Moscow, where a major defense industry plant was hit during the middle of the workday today. Yes, indeed, the Glare. Brian Tully is attempting to avoid his deposition. And the wildest thing, Will, we don't have footage from inside the courtroom. We don't know. We don't have any footage. We will eventually get audio from FTR, but we do not have footage as of yet from inside the courtroom. All right? Which is just shocking. It's the first time in any hearing, in any case I've ever seen where there's no... I've heard of, like, a camera having to record and upload it right after. There is no footage of this whatsoever. There's no Zoom. Nobody, but for Boozy Beauty's TikTok, no one would even know what happened. And that's not okay. I'm not okay with that. This is the scene from Moscow earlier today.
Oh, sure.
Okay, we don't need that one. And then I'll show you some of the impact damage on this plant in Moscow. It was eviscerated. I mean, it's a defense industry plant. They hit it in the middle of the day. This is like what makes Russia's most powerful missiles. Their Iskander and KH-101s. The building is destroyed. So this is in Moscow Oblast, too. This is deep into Russia. And the only way Ukraine could have done this was with American missiles, which is what they were with. It was an F-16 jet that fired American missiles. So, I think Ukraine has the support of the G7. Let's put it that way. Thank you so much, Natalie Diane. Yes, I like to report on as much as I can. I was going to end the stream early today so I could spend a little more time with Towel Girlfriend, but she went to bed. I also have shocking scenes from Gaza today where a double tap strike hit, and I'm going to show you the impact. This might be loud. Where a double tap strike hit in the middle of a crowded freeway. So there's no more bombing going on in Lebanon. No bombing going on in Israel. No bombing going on anywhere in the Middle East. But Israel is bombing in the middle of streets in Gaza. Not just bombing, and then bombing as people come in to help. That's called a double tap. Disgusting. All right. Love and camaraderie on Towel Channel. Hashtag I'm a towel. Especially when we have to see this very distressing imagery. In news out of the UK today, Prime Minister Keir Starmer stepped down after devastating losses in the midterm, I wouldn't call them midterm, but local parliamentary or local council elections that saw the Reform UK party take hundreds of seats from Labour and the Conservatives, leading to many political speculators to believe that that was a harbinger, which it often is, of the upcoming general elections in the UK. Now, Reform UK, I guess you could say it's the re-emergence of the UKIP Brexit bloc, the Nigel Farage bloc of the electorate, which really has shown extensive discontent with both the Labour Party and the Tory Party over the past 10 years, basically since Boris Johnson's government fell out of power and the horrific experience that was Liz Truss. Anyway, my point is, there's an alienated sector of the UK electorate that has been sort of bubbling up its discontent with protests. Then again, there was a man who was not a citizen of the UK who beheaded some guy in the middle of Belfast like 2 weeks ago. There's also been bubbling issues with immigration, quote-unquote migrant hotels, which all put a lot of pressure on the UK Prime Minister. Now, the way the UK system works is there's parliamentary coalitions, much like in the Knesset in Israel. And the Prime Minister was probably going to face a vote of what's called no confidence eventually from his own party, much like when Maggie Thatcher lost the prime ministership to, what was it, David Heseltine in '92. That was a fascinating speech that the Iron Lady gave. She was really opposed to the Eurozone, and, you know, some of her warnings were pretty prescient now that you think about it. Anyway, I don't have time to talk about the Schengen zone at the moment. In any event, the UK Prime Minister stepped down, and it kind of is a harbinger of what could be massive losses for both institutional parties. The Tories in the UK are the Conservatives. The Labour Party and the Lib Dems are the traditional, like, left-wing parties. The Greens and the SNP are, like, AOC, basically. They're like off the map. They're a little bit, you know. In any event, there's this new party. It's had a bunch of names. It's now called Reform UK. Even if they take enough to like get a coalition with the Tories, where the Tories are the minority party, that would be a fundamental, like, earth-shattering revolution in British parliamentary politics, unlike anything that's ever been seen before. I don't even know the last time that not just a minority party, a new party was in charge of the British government. That would be quite fun. It would be weird. I'm sure they'd do crazy things. But, you know, you wouldn't see people investigated for their social media posts, I'll tell you that. All right, T.A. Sarah's got a lot of information to add to the final now. Let me go ahead and play you the video recorded by Towel News, just a little clip of the UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer's resignation outside number 10 Downing Street in London earlier today.
Thank you.
Oh, if Will's still here, I will show him the shoes. I don't want to touch the shoes again, but I will show Will. I got towel shoes, Will. They're great.
Thank you. Walking up this street 2 years ago was the proudest moment of my life. A new Labour government.
I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the planet.
Government. The first in 14 years. A page in our country's history turned after years of disappointment and despair.
Oh, and then this guy who's been trolling like the Prime Minister for a long time, he like stands outside of his press conferences with a megaphone, started playing songs in the background. It was great. As the Prime Minister is trying to like resign, this like troll who's been there, this man is committed. I don't know what he's mad about. He's mad about a lot of things, I think, but he's very dedicated to his cause. I mean, he's never left. He's there all the time. You'll see the Prime Minister just kind of like talking. The guy's in the background with a bullhorn like, boo, Keir Starmer, boo, you're terrible. It's hilarious. This guy must have had the best day of his life today. He was playing like these like celebratory like classical anthems as the Prime Minister was resigning. It was great. Now, frankly, frankly, I think you all know what is called for. You know, if you've ever watched Towel News before, let's just say, you know, that I have a song I think is called for. Now, I think a lot of you, you know, somebody made a comment the other day that one of the things they enjoyed the most to get some mental decompression during the war, it was, and I did label this as a rant stream, so I guess I can just rant about things, but one of the things that you all liked the most during the war was when sometimes I would play the news with some insightful, you know, you may call it, insightful, what's the song? I mean, just, you know, insightful music, all right? So I'm going to play my own, what's it called? Soundtrack to the Prime Minister here. And I think it'll remind some of you of V for Vendetta, and I think it's truly apropos in light of our current circumstances, all right? So where's the one that I have in my library? I know I have one of them. All right, hold on. There's one specific one that I want. So we're just going to use the one that I already have. You know why? Because I think that one's the best. You know exactly what's coming as well. But I refuse to play any more of Keir Starmer's words until we have the song. So I have to find the song. I was just listening to it earlier. It's a really good song. You know, it's very, it's dancey. It has a good rhythm. It's really iconic. It's very apropos in the British context because it's so... Oh, there it is. All right, take it away, Mr. Prime Minister.
The chance to change the lives of millions of people for the better. That's what I came into politics for. The journey to that point was not easy. 6 years ago, I inherited a Labour Party that was politically, financially, and morally bankrupt. I was told time and time again that my party was finished, that we were consigned to history, that a majority at the general election, let alone a landslide majority, was impossible. But we proved those people wrong because we changed our party, ripping out the poison of anti-Semitism, restoring trust on the economy, defence and national security, and becoming a party that once again stood proudly with, not against, our national flag. The hard work of change was with a singular purpose, not power for power's sake, but to change Britain for the better, to build a fairer country with dignity and respect, where everyone is seen, everyone is valued, wealth and opportunity for all, not just the privileged few. And look at what we've achieved in just 2 years. An economy that is stronger, growing faster than our peers. Wages rising faster than inflation in every single month since we came to power. Investment secured, infrastructure being built. An end to austerity, with the fastest fall in NHS waiting lists
One more time.
for 17 years. The biggest improvement in rights for workers and renters in a generation. The biggest uplift in defence spending since the Cold War. Small boat crossings falling. Asylum hotels closing. Protecting young people from social media. And half of children being lifted out of poverty because of the choices that they made. Our reputation in the world restored, with Britain once again standing up for decency, respect and the rule of law, securing trade deals, standing with Ukraine, standing up for our values and rebuilding our relationship with our allies in Europe. Change promised by a Labour government, change fought for a Labour government, delivered by a Labour government. But I know the question being asked now is not who was best placed to change the Labour Party to take us into power and to begin the vital work of improving lives for millions of people. Those questions have been answered. question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer my parliamentary party to that question, and I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. This is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I have spoken to His Majesty the King this morning to inform him of my decision. I will ask the National Executive Committee of the Labour Party to set out a timetable with nominations opening on the 9th of July and completed by the summer recess. In the case of a contest, this will ensure a new leader is in place before Parliament returns in September. I will remain in post as Prime Minister until the contest is complete, and I will do everything I can to ensure an orderly handover of power. I will also give my successor my full and unequivocal support, knowing that they will inherit a Britain that is far stronger and fairer than the one I inherited 2 years ago, better prepared for the challenges ahead, and better able to ensure the Labour Party secures a second term in office. I want to thank all of those friends and colleagues who have been at my side.
And that was from the British Prime Minister. Be myself, there it is. Welcome. So there is an update on the hearing today. It was posted by the one and only Boozy Beauty to TikTok. Now, I think a lot of you are tuning in, and you're like, well, yes, Aaron, go broad, dance parties are great. And I think a lot of you are saying, why can't I see coverage of today's hearing? Well, there was no cameras at all. We don't even know what happened. But we do have the venerated, the one, the only Boozy Beauty, who gave this report. So if you want to know what happened at today's Karen Reid hearing, at least for now, your one and only option is this great video from the Queen of France herself, Boozy Beauty.
I'm just getting out of the hearing about Colin Albert's deposition. Now, this was continued until today from last week. We'll have a more in-depth video coming up, but just going over the basics of what happened. So last week we heard that Attorney Tewksbury was not going to be available for this hearing, and we all thought that his associate, Attorney Murphy, was going to be stepping in for him. But no, that's not who showed up. Mr. Bigwig from Connecticut, Attorney Chris Maddie, actually showed up. The issue is, though, he's not pro-hawked, aka he's not allowed in this case, but just out of desperation, no one objected for him to argue on the behalf of Colin Albert. And what we all expected, his main argument that now Colin Albert is active duty and they're really trying to reframe Colin's character here. And again, they're saying that Attorney Rosenberg, who is one of Karen Reid's attorneys, completely canceled the subpoena in order to not depose Colin Albert, which we all know that is not what the email said. The email said rescheduled because they don't have the documentation yet because Colin Albert has not given any documents. And the main issue is Attorney Maddie stated that he has tried calling whoever he has to call at the U.S. Army 4 times now, has left 4 different messages, and has not gone to respond. But he is also stating that Colin Albert is not in this ASVAB training, that he is in basic training. However, that's not what Tewksbury said. Tewksbury said he was in a 3-week school. So technically speaking, Colin is not enlisted yet. He can be pulled out of this school at any point. But they're essentially making it out to be like, nope, it's so impossible, no one's answering us, Colin's a non-party, he's a victim, look at him building his character, yada yada yada. And of course, Attorney Rosenberg, Karen Reid's attorney, is like, okay, we will help you in whatever way we need to, but as a reminder, we are rescheduling the deposition. We never canceled it. So whatever you need to help push this along, let's do it. Let's figure out the documentation and let's figure out the deposition. But even the communications over the weekend regarding the documentation that Colin Albert is supposed to hand over is still pending. They are still arguing over it because Colin's side is trying to say that, well, it's too broad, and we even agreed to expand a little bit. And essentially what they told Rosenberg on Friday was like such a limited expansion. So then Rosenberg, Karen's side, significantly cut it down, like compared to what they were asking for. And even still, they don't want to hand over on Colin Albert's side. They don't want to hand over whatever they want. Attorney Maddie's main argument being relevance. That's essentially it. And if you actually know the rules, like he's a non-third party, so he doesn't really have the chance to even object to relevance of the documentation. You can argue scope and the burden, but you can't argue much of anything else that they were trying to do. So that is on a to be continued. There's also a big update on the motion to compel in regard to Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, and Allie McCabe, as well as Brian Tully. I kid you not. No one wants to be deposed. No, why are they all running scared? If none of you did anything wrong, why are you all so nervous? Anyways, I will have a full in-depth video coming soon. I need to drive home. I'm still at the courthouse.
So there you have it. You know, I almost want to go old school and do a towel space and just let people comment on how ridiculous this is. That we aren't able to hear what's going on. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Maybe I'll do that after we actually get to hear the hearing. If we're going to debate towel, you want me in the morning too. You want me when I'm ready to go. Clive Davis has apparently died. Well, welcome to the channel. God bless you. But yeah, someone asked me if I would do a Twitter space and kind of talk to people about my thoughts on things. And I said I'd think about it. I don't want to do it now for a number of reasons. I've been up since, I don't know, 3 in the morning. And unless bombs are falling on people, I try not to use adrenaline to stay up past my towel bedtime. It's bad for my health. I don't know how you all stay up till like 6, 7, 8 p.m. It baffles me. It really does. You know, I'm impressed. I really am. I haven't seen like 8 p.m. in a long time. Like since the war, like kind of slowed down. Like 8 p.m. What the hell are you all doing up at 8 p.m.? What good could possibly be going on in the world at 8 p.m.? Seriously. Yeah, so I think we'll do a towel space probably tomorrow. I'll make it a surprise. I don't like to plan like those kind of things. Because one, I like to just, unless there's bombs falling or people in imminent risk of like danger, I don't like to put myself under stress like that. I don't like to commit to certain things. I like to ebb and flow. Anyway, my point is, we'll do it. It will be a surprise. It'll probably be tomorrow. My voice has also been recovering. If you've been wondering where I've been, I'm okay, but like I definitely developed like inflamed, like my throat got inflamed from talking so much. As I talked less for the past 5 days, it healed. So we're gonna do that. We went a while today, 2.5 hours, and the stream earlier, but I only talked during this one. We're gonna, like, I didn't realize what singers would, let me just explain this to you. So I talk a lot. I streamed like every day from like, I don't know, February 28th through like April 15th for like 12 hours a day. And then after that, I was still streaming probably 6 to 8 hours a day. Now, it's good as a physically disabled person that I can sit and talk. But I don't know if you know, like, what that does to your voice. It really impacts, like, it makes your voice stronger. But after a while, it induces kind of like, what's the word? Like chronic encephalitis, whatever the hell the term is for inflammation of the throat and the vocal. So the less I talk, it recovers. But yeah, I've noticed I got a meter by talking. Yes, Glamasseuse, thank you for the recommendation. Tea, there's some great teas out there. And I've noticed what it takes is just time. Like every other injury to the body. Just time, and it heals. I feel a lot better after sleeping, for example. It's hard for me not to talk, though. I love talking. I have things to say. My mind rebels at stagnation. But yeah, the point is, instead of going right from this to what would be, trust me, when we have a Twitter space, it's really fun. One, I control it. So, like, I might make, like, somebody like Erica. Maybe I'll message Erica, see if she wants to co-host it. She's really good at it. Like, I'll make someone a co-host, and then, but I'm, like, controlling it. So, like, I'm really good. I know who's a troll and who's not, and I love messing with them. And then we'll put it on the YouTube at the same time. It's good. It's fun. And there's a lot of people who have very like insightful things to say. And then some people are just like cruel. And then I like to mess with them. I'm not going to interrogate anybody though. Just to be clear, no more mole hunting for now. People got to figure out, I think it's pretty obvious what's going on. Mole hunting is interrogating people is tough. You really got to be in the zone. And I'm trying to like decompensate and relax a little bit. So I'm not trying to interrogate anyone. If someone brings that energy, yeah, I'll probably interrogate them. I have some questions. There's always questions outstanding. But they know better than to come on a space I control. Because then, they might say dumb things. So, yeah, I had a few requests for it. I do think it'll be good. Mimi says, you have lots of great information in your noggin, Grant, and we are so fortunate to be able to hear and learn from you daily. Mimi, that's how I feel about you. Your energy is precious and very special. All right, folks, it's about that time. I'm going to do a write-up, but let me get Pete Bunny Towel. Francine will be thrilled. Pete, where are you? Hold on a second. Where's Pete? I got him. So this is the channel mascot. We're working on making him into a plush. His name is Pete Bunny Tao. Okay? He's a stuffed bunny. All right? He's the channel mascot. Hello, Jen Fox. You came in right at the end. And I am getting a little dizzy, so that's normally a sign of bedtime. Now, this is Peep. Oh, Bunny Towel and Kofi love Peep. And so does his friend Francine. Everybody loves Peep. Peep's wonderful. Glamasuze, it's so good to see you. This is Peep. He's the channel mascot. He only comes out at the end of streams. So I like to do a few things at the end of streams. One, I like to remind you all that this is a public information service. I strive to engender cogent public discourse through education, information, and entertainment, thus warding off the usurpation of our representative or otherwise forms of government worldwide. And there's different ways to support. There's a pinned comment, etc. You can find more in the description. We have a Discord if you want to chat with us. People will, I'm sure, drop that link. And yeah, I'm grateful to all of you for that. But we also like to do Tippecanoe and Tyler too. So if you like American history, you will definitely like the ending. All right, Peep. All right, he's getting rambunctious. He wants to go outside. I want to go outside too, Peep. We'll go outside. I don't actually take him outside. I took him in the snow one time. I had to put a jacket under him because he's fluffy, so I didn't want him to get wet. But we went out into a snowstorm. He was thrilled. That was the farthest he's ever gone outside, though. He doesn't go outside. He just sits on his little chair next to my bed. It's very nice. He's a nice Pete Bunny Town. Anyway, so allow me to continue. I like to do the list of presidents in order to test my mental acuity at the end of streams. This is called Tippecanoe, mostly because Triple Bob loves Tippecanoe and Tyler too. So shout out Triple Bob. Here we go. President Washington, then President Jefferson. Excuse me, I have to start over. President Washington, President Adams, President Jefferson, President Madison, President Monroe, President Adams Jr., President Jackson, President Van Buren. Skip 9, 10, 11, 12. 13 is Millard Fillmore. Then we get to Tippecanoe and Tyler too. So that's going to be... All right. Polk, Taylor, Pierce, Buchanan, Lincoln, Johnson, Grant, Rutherford B. Hayes, Garfield, Chester A. Arthur, Cleveland, Harrison, Cleveland, McKinley, Teddy Roosevelt, William R. Taft, Woodrow Wilson, Harding, Coolidge, Hoover, FDR, Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush 1, Clinton, Bush 2, Obama, Trump, Biden, Trump. How about them apples? Hashtag Triple Bob's here. Hashtag Tippecanoe and Tyler too. Oh, that was wonderful. We love Tippecanoe. What a great recitation of the American presidents. Were you all able to follow along? Extra bonus points to everyone if you knew everyone on that list. It was Glamasuze. I think my favorite election is probably the election of 1896 because it's such an interesting study in a reaction to like the tariff policy of like 1892 and also like early industrialization because you had the emergence of the oil markets and then Northern Securities and then Northern Steel and then Standard Oil and you had J.D. Rockefeller doing his thing in Cleveland and then in reaction to that you had the emergence of Williams Jennings Bryan and his free silver movement, which really was a harbinger of what was going to happen inevitably in 1907 with the Knickerbocker Trust collapsing and then J.P. Morgan saving the country country with his private reserves, and then in turn that being the groundwork for then Senator, soon to be Secretary of the Treasury under Wilson, Nelson Aldrich, going to Jekyll Island with all the big bankers and then creating the Federal Reserve, which was actually the fourth bank of the Central Bank of the United States, and in turn laying the foundation for the boom-bust cycle, which has permeated the American economy ever since, in particular defined by instruments like margin loans, credit default swaps, or whatever you want to call it when you package debt that's leveraged for the purposes of things like buying stocks or homes or other things like mortgages, whatever. The point is, it's created this terrible, terrible situation, and I really do think that the election of 1896 was kind of like the turning point. If the free silver movement, now really, you got to look back to what's called the Grange, all right? That was a movement that emerged in, like, Illinois. They were a bunch of populist farmers. It's actually what The Wizard of Oz is about as a book. They emerged in, like, I don't know, the 1870s. They actually won a substantial amount of congressional seats in Illinois. They could have taken, I think they even won, like, one or two states in the presidency. They really could have become something. And that was the early foundation of what would go on to become the free silver movement. And what you must understand is that, like, America wasn't always a debt-based economy. In, like, the 1870s, you had this discussion between, like, whether we should issue, like, paper currency or, like, which can become fiat currency, which is where you lend out more than you have in reserve. It's complicated. But the point is, it was supposed to be, like, silver-backed or gold-backed currency. And now gold itself became its own hunt button issue. So there was this proponent, this very large movement that kind of was birthed out of the populist farmers movement of the 1870s called the Free Silver Movement. Now, you must understand that after the Civil War, America took like 5 years, I'd say, maybe through the 1870s into like the early 1880s to return to an economic surplus. That got completely wiped out by like 1892 due to like antagonism towards Spain and like some skirmishes, you may call them, like the early precipice of the Spanish American War over Cuba in like 1897, which ironically was launched because of the economic collapse that happened in the 1890s. But anyway, you had like the Panic of 1893, which led to like huge losses for the party in office at the time, which I want to say was either Cleveland's first term. Yeah, it was Cleveland's first term, right leading up to Harrison's election. And it just, like, they got decimated. And so Williams Jennings Bryan, you probably know him from the Scopes Monkey trial. But he really got, like, he made his name on the Free Silver movement. That's why he was so famous. He tried to, like, consolidate the populist farmers movement under the umbrella of the Free Silver movement in the lead up to the 1896 election. Unfortunately, it did not work. Like, if he had won that election, oh, dear goodness, the American history would have changed probably for the better. Now, inevitably, I think he had kind of a Hegelian dialectic made manifest up in Buffalo in 1901 when McKinley got shot by that anarchist, because, in the words of the banksters at the time, that damned cowboy is now president. Teddy Roosevelt and his early affinity with the muckrakers, of course, would inevitably lead to not only the reformation of the tuberculotic beef problem in America, but also the establishment of the Bureau of Corporations, which you know today as the Commerce Department. It also was the emergence, or sort of the actual first application, of the Sherman Antitrust Act of 1891, because that act, much like the RICO Act when it was first passed, lay dormant for like 16 years until Ida Tarbell was like, why don't you go do some trust busting, Mr. President? And Teddy Roosevelt was like, hell yeah, get J.P. Morgan in here. J.P. Morgan comes into the Oval Office, tries to like negotiate with Teddy Roosevelt like he's a businessman, and Roosevelt's like, I'm not having it, get the hell out of here. And J.P. Morgan went back to New York and was like, I don't know what to do with this man, he won't negotiate with me like a businessman. Anyway, so pretty famous series of history. Hello, Booping the Blues. Hello to our towel friends in Australia. You absolutely can redeem Australia, God bless you. I don't know how to answer that question, Tracy. I try to engender cogent public discourse. This is kind of more like participatory history, real-time dialectics. So knowledge is power, I guess. Petition the government for redress of your grievances, reform the system. Hello, the other Mary B. Claire Mazouz is like, oh, I got him going. You did. I thought, little did you know, Claire Mazouz, I love the election of 1896. It's one of my favorite things ever. I also love Ida Tarbell's history of the Standard Oil Company, which, apropos of our discussion, is about the emergence of post-industrial corporate power vis-a-vis J.D. Rockefeller consolidating the oil industry by buying all 38 refineries in Cleveland. He only owned 2 when he started, and thus shutting out and shutting down all the independent-owned oil towns. Did you know, back in the day when oil was first discovered in the rivers of Pennsylvania, what you would do is the man who invented the oil drill didn't patent the technology. Now, a Canadian company went on to patent it eventually because he didn't. But in the beginning, you could just go ahead and put your oil wells anywhere you wanted. Those oil wells, in turn, if you struck oil, could lead to enormous profits. There were locally owned mom and pop oil towns all throughout America, ladies and gentlemen. They had their own post offices and grocery stores. They had independent wealth. They were self-sustaining, and it was an era of prosperity. But J.D. Rockefeller, he didn't like that very much. He said, I want to put those independent oil towns out of business. Now, you read Ida Tarbell's history of the Standard Oil Company. What are you going to find out? J.D. Rockefeller bought up all 38 refineries in Cleveland, because to remember, you can't just take oil out of the ground. You got to get it to a refinery, put it on a rail car at the time, ship it to a grocery store, because remember, oil before it was used in cars, there were no cars in like the 1860s, was primarily used as a substitute for whale blubber in order to light homes. Now, it was probably good that we stopped killing the whales, all right? So you would go to the grocery store, and you would buy oil, okay, processed petroleum, to light your lamps before electricity. Because remember, we didn't have electricity then either, really. It wasn't like the late 1800s, early 1900s. They weren't electrocuting elephants in the middle of New York to try to prove that alternating current is bad for some reason, although that was not actually true. Anyway, Weidencliff Tower is a fascinating piece of history. So anyway, these independent oil towns relied on this complex network of refineries and then shipping on the railroads. Now, if you know anything about the railroads, you know that the way that they were monopolized was a bunch of companies got contracts to build out 1,000-mile sections of railroad at the time. If they didn't build out the railroad within 10 years, all of the materials and everything they did up till the 10-year point was turned over to the federal government. Now, what was the counter to that? If they did get it done on time, they got mineral rights under the damn railroads. Like literally 10 square miles under every mile of track. I'm not kidding you. They got the damn mineral rights. It's in the congressional contracts. Now, you can imagine this created a bunch of perverse conflicts of interest where, like, the guy who owned the oil refinery, like J.D. Rockefeller, might go to the guy who owned the railroad, J.P. Morgan, and be like, hey, bruh, you know those independent oil towns? Like, they're really, like, screwing me over. Like, have you ever thought about, like, giving me 50% off on all my shipments for, like, a year or two, and then once we drive them all out of business, like, I'll pay you kickbacks? And hence, I think it was the Credit Mobilier scandal. That was part of it, was born. This also came to fruition a few other times. I don't think Teapot Dome might have been related to this, but that wasn't until 1923. Credit Mobilier, I think, is, wouldn't you know it, within like a year or two, all the grocery stores were only buying their oil from J.D. Rockefeller refineries. Ida Tarbell's father was part of one of those local oil towns. That's why she wrote about all this. And as a result, Ida Tarbell spent like 20 years in the late 1890s, early 1900s, exposing what J.D. Rockefeller did to destroy mom and pop oil towns. And therefore, we have the American administrative regulatory apparatus. It may have gotten out of hand and bloated over the last 100 years, but make no mistake, it exists because corporations, when they're allowed to just do what they want, will run mom and pop shops out of business. That's why we regulate. True free market capitalism, according to Adam Smith's analysis of wheat prices in 1791, is centered around the fundamental insight that the input into the democratic regulatory process by manufacturers is the most odious form of self-interest, because shrinking the market and expanding prices for consumers is their natural inclination, and therefore the regulatory state must ward off that insidious drive towards oligopoly. So anyway, My point is, we have to make sure that government properly understood and properly functioning is applied to ward off the undue acquisition of power by large consolidated corporate interests at the expense of local mom and pop industries. And the oil industry is our harbinger. It was supposed to be our lesson. And then we passed Glass-Steagall in 1933 to prevent investment banks and deposit banks from operating under the same roof, which should have corrected for this margin loan like lending predatory sort of schema that emerged from like the breaking up of Northern Securities under Teddy Roosevelt. Ironically, J.P. Morgan and J.D. Rockefeller and one of them got more powerful once their companies were broken up because they figured out how to game the system, take control of it, and ruthlessly consolidate power at the expense of the everyday American. Anyway, by 1933, we kind of figured out that you can't have, like, the core problem here was when investment banks had a perverse incentive to bet against their own deposit holders. So, of course, under the early form of FDR's New Deal, the Congress, like, one of the first things they did was pass Glass-Steagall in 1933 in response to the Great Depression, which in turn walled off those investment and deposit banks from operating under the same roof. Come 1999, of course, you get Graham-Leach-Bliley, the Economic Modernization Act of 1999, and then all of a sudden investment banks and deposit banks are operating under the same roof. Wouldn't you know it? Mortgages get consolidated as credit default swaps with junk debt packaged with AAA product and then falsely rated by Moody's and S&P and etc. put out onto the market, leading to a bubble, leading to the housing collapse. But this time, instead of getting a Glass-Steagall, we got the TARP bailouts, and we bailed out the people who stripped us of our resources, setting us up for another boom. Wait a minute. We'll be back in a second. No, I want to explain this. So it's my language, actually. I saw that in Massachusetts, people were in the adult medical use industry, like small mom and pop companies. They were getting approached by these like usurious lenders who were getting capital at 12% on the open market and then lending it out to other adult medical use companies at 20%. And I was like, bro, no. Also, be careful who you let in your boardrooms, because I probably know them. Anyway, so, and don't tell people you're getting capital at 12% and lending it out at 20. Are you out of your mind? So anyway, I went to the lawmakers and some other people, and we were like, what if we just put a dedicated levy, which is like a perpetual, like segment of a tax that gets set aside? What if we just put a dedicated levy on the excise tax on adult use in Massachusetts? And what if we use that dedicated levy every year to fund a 0% interest grant program for companies in various stages of the application process? That's what we did. Now, the Executive Office of Economic Development gets $35 million a year to give out to locally owned mom and pop companies between $50,000 and $500,000 grants to open, so they don't have to get money at 20% when the bigger companies are getting it at 12%. And that's what happens if you try to mess with my regulatory apparatus. I won't just get you. I'll ruin your predatory lending industry. Then I'll use your taxes to subsidize lending for your competition so that you can't consolidate the market. And then I'll smile and ask you to shake my hand and say thank you. I do that all the time to the bigwigs. I just look at them. I'm like, oh, you blow sniffing like peons. They get so baffled. They think they're so powerful because they have money and do cocaine. And I look at it and I'm like, all right, you're like 6 months behind. You have no influence on most of the legislation and most people laugh at you. So what power do you have? Okay, like you can buy people. That's nice. That must feel great. Do you even remember most of your weekends? I just laugh at them. Industrial barons outsource a lot of their work. So when you actually get to them, they're weak. They're just cowards. I don't mean to say that of every industry baron, but it's true of a lot of like new and old money. They're just lazy. They outsource a lot of their work. So when you actually get them, they don't know what to do. Oh, it was a flow state. Thank you, T.A. Sarah. By the way, look at that flow state from T.A. Sarah. T.A. Sarah, every single bit of that last segment of the stream is going to be on the final. So, yeah. We do have T.A. Sarah. She gives out bonus points. That was just supposed to be the outro, but Glamasous gave me a great prompt, and then we got to talk about like a lot of American history. If you're wondering why I like doing that, you see, little towel. When I was just a young washcloth, when I was like 11, I was a voracious reader. I like to read everything. Supreme Court decisions, Black Mass, and then I like to watch WWF wrestling. But I just like to read everything. So eventually I got to this writer in college. It might have been grad school. I think it was grad school when I read Phenomenology of Spirit for the first time. His name was Hegel. And I've read a lot of other philosophers. You can't really become a philosopher without first becoming a Kantian. But anyway, and you can't become a Kantian without first becoming, like, I guess a Rousseauian. You got to go through that sophomoric, like, Rousseauian rebellion. And you can't become a Rousseauian without first becoming, I guess, like a Hobbesian. And then you can't be a Hobbesian without being a Machiavellian. And you can't be a Machiavellian without being a Platonist. And you can't be a Platonist without being, like, a pre-Socratic. So anyway, my point with all of that is that I was reading this man named Hegel, and he has this great theory of, like, the historical dialectic, which says that, like, history's, like, unyielding form is a cultural thesis, the predominant worldview, clashes with cultural antithesis, and they clash and create a synthesis which becomes the new thesis. And all of history seems to fit that form. And then I was reading, like, Max Weber's sociology. And then I think I was reading Jürgen Habermas's discourse theory. And then I think I was watching Orson Welles' Citizen Kane. And then I think I was reading Adorno and Horkheimer's Dialectic of the Enlightenment, in particular Chapter 8 on the culture industry. And I realized that, like, what the modern world had become, especially in the monoculture of the 1990s and early 2000s, was sort of this, like, artificial hegemon. It was kind of like the movie WALL-E. We were living in a suspended animation. I won't get into the political causes of it. I think it has a lot to do with PNAC, Project for a New American Century, the Wahhabis, MBS in Saudi Arabia, Adnan Khashoggi, who stole my freaking paintings from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, in order to avoid a jail sentence. He got the idea from Miles Connor. Anyway, and like a lot of various political explanations for what happened. But history kind of stopped in like 1999 or 2000. And so from my perspective, I was kind of trying to figure out where this cultural alienation came from. And I eventually realized that we were living in this artificial media hegemon. It eventually got broken, the grip of it all, by social media. But in order to like understand how that artificial hegemon was functioning, I had to apply the lens of critical theory to the modern media environment. So that was a lot of my graduate work. I was developing a quantitative methodology to examine the cogency of public discourse as an indicator of political legitimacy in liberal republics, which is just a long-winded way of saying, like, I would populate word clouds based on what people were saying on social media. This was in the early days. Like, you could get back-end API access to do research, and you, like, it was anonymized, but you could, like, geographically plot it. So, like, everything someone said, everything some people in Massachusetts said from June 1st, like 2014 through June 1st, 2016, you could get geofenced API data. So populate a word cloud of that, then take the congressional record during that same period from Massachusetts in the legislature, all the speeches, all the bills, then take all the public statements by all the public officials on all their known platforms, amalgamate that into a word cloud. Okay, you got two word clouds. Word clouds are where you use natural language processing, which is a form of machine learning, to study a bunch of text and then look for like the most commonly used word. The word cloud has that word like bigger than other words. You overlap those two word clouds into an Venn diagram, and then the degree of overlap is an indicator of the legitimacy of the political system. You can scale it vertically, horizontally. You can compare states on the national level. You can go up, look at the federal government, like the way that functions, compare it internationally. It's like a very good form for studying what public. Then I wanted to work backwards. Then I wanted to work backwards and figure out sort of where does this alienation come from. And so I used Adorno's culture industry, which is chapter 8 of Dialectic of the Enlightenment from like 42. I read that, and then I used his theory of degrees of simulation. Now, Peep, do you mind if I set you down while I explain this? Thank you. So degrees of simulation is this idea. It comes from Adorno. I'll explain it to you the way I like to. Imagine yourself in a room with your friend and their cell phone. If I asked you to describe that cell phone to me, you'd probably tell me about the damage, if you knew your friend well. Maybe it dropped on the floor one day at a bar, so it has like a dent. You'd probably tell me a story about it, or an experience, or maybe there was like a funny moment, like that's the phone that recorded like a video that you really fondly remember. You'd have as much context possible for understanding that phone. Adorno would call that the first degree of simulation. Now I could very easily ask you to, I could very easily ask you to take a picture of your cell phone, your friend's cell phone, and bring it to your roommate, right? Just a Polaroid. Snap the Polaroid, picture of the cell phone. You could bring it to your roommate who's never met your friend. They don't know anything about your friend or their cell phone. I could bring you back to your apartment, say, would you mind showing your roommate the picture of the phone? You could do it, and you could show them the picture, and I could say to them, now, roommate, would you mind describing to me that phone? The roommate is going to probably tell me, like, the make, the model, like, color. Maybe there's, like, superficial damage, the screen's cracked, something very general. They can describe the phone, but that's the best they're going to be able to do. That's called the second degree of simulation. Now, if I really wanted to take this to the next level, I could say to your roommate who's never met your friend, knows nothing about their cell phone, and only saw that picture, would you mind writing down for me what you just said? Could you just take your exact description you just gave me and just write it down? They could do that. I promise you that they could do that. Now, I could take those words in written form, and I could bring them to a man on the street, and I could say, extra, read all about it, hot off the presses, my friend's roommate writes story about damaged cell phone. I could give the words to that man. I could have him read them. Now he's reading your roommate's description of a phone that they've never seen before but only looked at a picture of. All right? And then I could say to that man, tell me about the phone. That man would be experiencing the phone in the third degree of simulation. As a result, and you can see where this is going because I tipped it off, there was some towel foreshadowing in there, all modern news, including the news you consume, is consumed from the third degree of simulation. Your job as an informed, erudite consumer of information is to reconstruct what you're being lied to about. And you might say, well, how do I do that? Well, that's where Orson Welles' Citizen Kane comes in. He gave you the answer. All you have to do is watch that movie. Because in that movie, Orson Welles, who I think, by the way, his dad was some famous diplomat. Welles hung out with, like, Winston Churchill often growing up. You got to listen to you got to listen to Orson Welles be interviewed by Dick Cavett in the 70s. I've listened to everything Dick Cavett's ever done. He's our great interviewer. In Citizen Kane, you learn that to hear the truth about a man, in this case Charles Foster Kane, who was based off William Randolph Hearst, which is an interesting cyclical commentary on the fact that William Randolph Hearst owned a lot of the newspaper publications in the West Coast. Yellow journalism comes from the fight between Joseph Pulitzer, who owned the East Coast newspapers, and William Randolph Hearst, who owned the West Coast newspapers. Hearst also was part of the fight in the Bohemian Grove in 1897 that led to the fracturing. It's very complicated. So Hearst confronted Welles in the elevator of the Mark Hopkins after Welles made Citizen Kane and yelled at him. And Welles was like, eh. So anyway, that was the first movie to ever have ceilings, by the way. It was really hard before that to light indoors. Welles figured it out. And he says he figured it out, if you listen to his interviews, because he didn't know there were any rules. He's hilarious. Anyway, so Welles makes Citizen Kane, and you kind of learn, if you want to learn about Charles Foster Kane's life, you got to hear 5 people lie to you about his whole life, and you'll start to see kernels of truth in the 5 disparate perspectives. Well, that's just Welles reading Adorno and Horkheimer and being like, okay, I see the puzzle, here's how you get out of the third degree of simulation. You just listen to a lot of people, not intentionally, but like a lot of perspectives wrapped in individualized personal experiences and narrative containers on the same person, situation, or event. And then you have to memorize all of them and then look for the things that they share. What's a small kernel of truth that all of the perspectives share? That's probably the truth. And that's how you do it. All right. There you go. Good job, everyone. That is your lesson in modern media literacy. So I think I took you there. Like, we went in, like, kind of, I mean, ironically enough, I love James Joyce's Finnegan's Wake. So that was kind of a commodious vicus of recirculation. It was like we were on the River Laffey going, like, through Adam and Eve and the Hawthorne's castle and whatnot. I've always wanted to write like Finnegan's Wake about Boston. We'll think about it. Anyway, it was nice and like a nice recursive commodious vicus of recirculation, because we started in like, I don't know, 1790 with the presidents, and then we went through all of them. Then we came back to 1880 with like the story about the oil barons and post-industrial sort of machinations leading up to the election of 1896, and then we kind of threaded it through another needle and took it all the way back to the history of pre-Socratic philosophy, and then tucked that all neatly through the Hegelian, Weberian, Adorno, Horkheimer, and then Wells lens, and then packaged it in a nice little bow and presented it in the form of degrees of simulation, alienating context from modern news. How about them apples? So yeah, why take 4 years of college? Just listen to Towel. Just take lots of notes. T.A. Sarah is in a lot of trouble for the final. T.A. Sarah has to take notes on everything. Oh, by the way, the final in this non-existing class is 180 multiple choice questions, a 5,000 word minimum essay, 3 1,000 word minimum short answers, and you have 3 hours to do it. You better learn how to type really, really fast. All right. God bless all of you. Let me do my traditional outro. Peep, your friend Francine is here. Come say hi. So, my voice is starting to hurt. You can tell. I want to get some rest. If you've watched this stream before, you know I like to end the same way every day. If you learned something today, if you found camaraderie in the chat, if you found me entertaining or whatnot, there's a way you can pay it forward. You can look for reasons to do a small act of service or kindness for people around you today. It can be something as simple as donating to our homeless veterans or our service members or their family. There should not be one homeless veteran against their will in the United States of America, or we have failed, ladies and gentlemen. They want to go live in the woods. We're not going to stop them. They have survival skills. But there should not be one homeless veteran against their will in this country, and we can do better if there is. Consider a donation to those who fought for our freedoms and allow us to do everything in this country that we love so dearly. Now, what if you like animals and veterans and service members and their families? Pete Bunnytail is not an animal, but he does love animals like goats and otherwise. You may consider, ladies and gentlemen, a donation to an animal shelter run by veterans or service members, or that helps our service members or veterans. It's a great way to help our vets, and it's a great way to help animals. Now, speaking of animals, allow me, I would be remiss, I think, if I did not bring up that you did all meet the chat goal. I want to say thank you to that, and I think I owe you a goat video. Mimi loves the goats. Speaking of goats, you may consider a donation to an animal shelter. Wow, 20,000 of you watched this on X. Wait, what? That's hilarious. 20,000 of you watch this on the Towel X. That's hilarious. I must have very interesting things to say. All right. Oh, this was so I could show you goats. Oh, wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an update from Boozy Beauty. We might get footage. I am told that, I'm not told, I'm reading from Reporter Towel Boozy Beauty. Fox 25, wait a minute, I already reposted it. Fox 25 was in the courtroom. Oh, we might get footage. Upload that damn footage. I demand to watch it right now. This is a travesty. I demand to watch it right now. Are you kidding me? Come on, upload it. Upload it. How can you not upload this damn thing? I understand, you know, you're proud. Upload the freaking footage. Upload it. How could they not take this live? This is outrageous. Apparently, Fox 25 was there. I think they're like, why would you hold it? Give us the footage. I don't think anyone's uploaded it yet. They have it though. We're gonna get to watch it. That's what we'll do. We'll watch it and then I'll have a space about it tomorrow. This is good news though. We have the hearing. Did I hear about Sully? No, I did not. This is excellent news though. I was getting worried there. Where is the Boston 25 tag? All right, here it is. No footage yet. Why would you record it and not upload it immediately? Somebody get this footage. I want to watch this hearing. All right, so the footage does exist. We are going to get to see it. Yes, Tiffany Bob. The second that coverage goes up, probably tomorrow, I will post and then we'll watch it. Obviously, you're going to be able to see it on Boston 25 first, according to the venerated reporter, Towel Boozy Beauty. Boozy Beauty, you can come work for, well, not work, but, you know, be part of Towel News. I don't know how we'll do it. Boozy Beauty says, let me just have British reporter Towel read this out. Will be my closing message in the middle of my outro.
Conversation. Being asked this a lot, Fox 25 was filming in the courtroom. I'm unsure if this footage will be supplied or not. I do hope so, as I believe today was very interesting listening to Attorney Mattei and Attorney Rosenberg argue about Colin Albert's deposition. I was not live tweeting as I do not have the proper credentials and, unfortunately due to the nature of certain participants surrounding the case, I do not feel comfortable putting my full information out to the public knowing it will eventually be weaponized. Working on a full write-up now regarding Colin's deposition. Thanks.
Oh, big thanks and shout-outs to Boozy Beauty for being her. Robbie W. says, thanks, Grant, for some intellectual content. Thank you, Robbie W. Pick a Handle says, thanks for being you, Grant. Well, thank you. Thank you, Freeze Frame Pan Out, for being you as well. Let me continue my outro. Where was I? Oh, yes. So you may consider a donation to animal shelters run by or that help our service members or veterans. Oh, and I was going to get you videos of goats to play like part. But if you can't find such a charity, then you may consider a donation to a animal shelter in general. Everyone loves animals, whether they be goats or sheep or doggos or cats. We all love our wonderful animal friends, and you can donate today to help them. Now, I am going to show you the video of goats returning to South Lebanon, because from March 9th, we have footage of the goats fleeing. I now have footage of the returning. So if you want to donate to an animal shelter, look at all those goats. We love goats. In Lebanon, look at the goats. They're great. But yes, you may consider a donation to an animal shelter today. It doesn't have to be if you're in the UK, please consider a donation to The Big Issue. Great would help populations experiencing homelessness. But it doesn't have to be a donation. It could be something as simple as smiling at someone on the street, reaching out to a friend or family member you haven't heard from in a while, or yes, even giving away 200 tomato plants like Francis Futrell did one time and having them designated honorary towels forevermore during the outro. Yes, in that way, may we all hope the current realpolitik continues to change from one centered on preserving, expanding, and demonstrating our power, to instead one centered on preserving, expanding, and demonstrating our capacity to engage in small acts of service and kindness rooted in unconditional love, therein allowing us to live up to our Italia Eudaimonia, or Summum Bonum, and our greatest good in the ancient Greek or Latin respectively, and in turn bringing about a new digital epic defined by Aquarius the water bearer, standing tall and carrying a towel. Now, if you have been watching Towel News for a long time, you'll know that I like to end our broadcast day the same way every time. If you watch Towel News, you know that I like to do a little throwback. So, from me to you, from Grant Smith Ellis to you wonderful Towel friends, thank you for being you. God bless you. God bless everyone out there. God bless these United States of America. And if you wouldn't mind, to conclude your broadcast day, I'm going to leave you with the Star Spangled Banner. So thank you again for watching Towel News. This thus concludes your broadcast day. I wish you all a good day, a good afternoon, or a good morning, whatever the case may be. And I do hope you enjoy this final outro song. When you see this go up, it does indeed mean we are ending for the day. And it is a very nice way, I think, to end your broadcast day. Marcia, God bless you, my friend. Towel Mom Bunny. Tiffany Bob, pick a handle. Number One Child says, thank you so much, Grant, for advocating for animals during your stream. Also, congratulations on your achievement with graduating. God bless you, Number One Child. Enjoy your towel wrench. Thank you so much for your kind words. We love animals on Towel Stream. Any kind of animal, we're down with protecting and saving the animals. So, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Where's my Star Spangled Banner? There's only one song that I want to end the day. I do love America the Beautiful, but I want the Star Spangled Banner to end the day. So that's what we're going to play. Where is it now? I have it. I have it here. It was a long time ago that we listened to it for the first time. But I will find it. I put it on my list. And it is a very nice way to conclude your broadcasting. Where is it? Where is it? I'm just going to look it up this way. I will not be deterred. There's no way they took it out of the catalog. And I know it's the right one because it has a heart. Alright, where is it? I do like the flag, though. Alright, where's the one with the heart? Here it is. This thus concludes your broadcast day on Towel News. Signing off at 5:58 p.m. Eastern in Boston, U.S. peacetime. That would be 11:58 p.m. in South Africa, Monday, June 22nd, 2026. That would be 12:58 a.m. in Tel Aviv, Israel, and 1:28 a.m. in Tehran, Iran. That would be Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. My name is Grant Smith Ellis. Thank you for being you. Thank you for watching Towel News. God bless all of you, and God bless the United States of America.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good night, Towel friends. Good night, Pick a Handle. Good night, Tiffany Bob. Good night, AED. We don't yet know. We'll find out more information, hopefully tomorrow, about today's hearing. God bless you all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being with me.